Hello, fellow homebrewers. JP here, and I want to introduce to you the brand new Brew-Built X1 Conical Series available at More Beer. More Beer sells the highest standard in homebrewing equipment, and the Brew-Built Conicals are just that. They're made from mirror-polished 304 stainless steel, and they come with loads of features that you and I have been looking for. They have a full 2-inch bottom dump valve, which will eliminate your clogging issues, while the sturdy base includes 4 reinforced legs, just like those big Pro tanks do. More Beer also carries the Brew-Built line of options and add-ons like casters, pressure kits, and even external glycol chillers. So you can find out more about the new Brew-Built X1 Conical Unitanks by going over to morebeer.com for detailed videos on the entire line of Brew-Built Conicals. You can trust Brew-Built with your next fermentation, and you can trust More Beer to find the right conical for you. Brew-Built at morebeer.com.
Feels like work. Shooting the shit for 2 hours, drinking beer and talking beer. What a wonderful experience.
Can we not have the barf bucket near my mixing board?
I think everybody could read the book.
I knew you were going to use this book as an excuse to quit doing this show.
Mrs. Bub, if you want, I can mail you the Bub Timer.
Yeah, Newcastle, especially in the can. Have you ever had it in the can?
No, I have not had it in the can.
Notice I closed my eyes and I concentrated really hard.
Now, live from the Brewing Network studios in Northern California, this is the radio program for home brewers, craft brewers, beer lovers, and beer geeks. It's your only source for live beer radio that brings expert brewers together with, well, expert drinkers. This is the radio program with a head on it. This is The Session.
All right. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody. My name's Justin Crosley. I'm your host today, joined by JP.
Hi.
He's here. We got the great Bevo running around.
Hi.
And our special co-host today, Sean Sully O'Sullivan.
Hey. I'm here.
From 21st Amendment fame, wearing an Oakland A's hat. Now that you're on this side of the bridge, have you switched allegiance from the Giants?
Actually, if you look at the brim, under the rim here, it says Coach Sean because my son's baseball team was the A's.
I see.
So I'm...
Ryan played Major League Baseball in Oakland? I have no idea.
Youngest player in history.
Oh, my God.
I didn't pay him a lot like the rest of the players, but he did play for them.
Right.
Oh, wow, that's pretty tight. I didn't know that.
Yeah. All right. Well, also, Sully, I'm glad to see you in general.
Yes, I am too.
Sully comes into the show last week, and just before, and he goes, I don't feel so well. Like, I just got on BART, and I just don't feel well. And I'm like, oh, man, are you okay? And he's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. I think I even said, maybe got jitters coming back on.
Yeah, I was nervous. No.
He does the whole show. He doesn't say another thing about it.
He's a trooper, man.
He ends up in the hospital later that night.
Yeah.
What happened?
It did happen. That did happen. I think I'm the only person on this show that's had an appendicitis on the show.
Oh,
for the
God.
whole show.
Actively had it.
Actively had it. And also, the second is I didn't even know he had it.
Right.
Like, I didn't show up here like that. I got appendicitis. I'm going to go on the air and do this thing.
Right. So I have a couple of questions.
Oh, you can have as many as you want.
First of all, why didn't you at least bleed out on the air or something to give us a better radio?
You can get the YouTube video hits.
Yeah.
Hey, watch this one.
And second of all, did you continue to feel worse throughout the show and just not say anything?
I didn't feel well. That's correct. I mean, I was starting to develop a fever.
Okay.
I blacked out a couple times, but you didn't notice because you don't pay attention to me.
Right.
No, it was really bad, real quick because it's a long short story. So I'll make it a short long story. And what happened was I walked back to BART.
Wow. Yeah.
Got on. I was in pain. It's hard when you have these things. It's hard to walk. So I go home. I have a fever. I'm like, all right, I just ate something bad. Maybe it was, something.
Yeah.
So I go to bed that night, wake up at 3:30 in the morning, go like, no, this is not like bad food.
Oh, man.
And so I call up the Kaiser Advice Nurse, and they say, you got to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So I take Uber to the hospital.
Oh, my gosh.
Oakland Kaiser. Beautiful hospital, by the way. And I get a CAT scan. They gave me some Dilaudid, which was great.
I love Dilaudid.
You're on the air right now, by the way.
I would get an appendicitis right now just for Dilaudid.
Well, just say you have it on the end, and you go right to the head of the line when you say you're having appendicitis.
Okay.
Because it's potentially a fatal thing. Because it can blow up, and then you get sepsis, and then it's not a good thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, I get checked in, and then they can't do surgery because there's some other inflammation kind of going around by the appendix, which is a useless thing, by the way.
Right.
And then I end up spending 3 days there with an IV drip.
Oh my gosh!
In the hospital with not Dilaudid, but just regular like Tylenol and Motrin.
Well, that's
and I'm
lame.
walking around with like an IV drip, and I'm on the floor, and everybody comes in like every 2 hours to check on you and
make sure you're alive.
And then I got out about 3 days later, and
wow. Do you still have your appendix?
I do. They did not take it out. They want to take it out, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I'm still taking antibiotics now.
Okay.
I'm probably about 89% right now. Not all there, so as you can tell by my warbly voice.
I love it's 89. Most people would just round up to the nearest 10.
I feel like if you say 90, it's like, fuck you, you're fine.
Yeah, 89.
89, you're like, is he okay? I could pass out now and be like, well, he's only 89%.
Yeah.
Of course he passed out.
You can doubt me, but you still have to be nice to me to my face. That's 89%. 90%, you can tell me to fuck right off.
And
exactly.
here's the other numbers game you didn't learn in the hospital, and that is when the nurses come in and they say rate your pain on a scale of 1 to 10, you're always an 11. Yeah. That's why you only got Tylenol for the last 3 days.
Yeah, well, I thought of, actually it's funny because I had the Dilaudid and it did feel great. You understand why people go on this for hardcore forever.
Yeah.
And you're like sitting there and it was just enough to kind of take the edge off, but it felt great. And I was thinking to myself, like, 6 hours into the emergency room because they didn't have a bed for me yet. And I said, should I ask for more?
Yes.
I could ask for more. And then I went
you're like a high priority.
Yeah.
And then
we could be together forever.
It's like the Ring out of The Hobbit or something. And I was just thinking to myself, come on, man, don't do that to yourself.
Oh,
just,
no.
Deny yourself the pleasures of this mortal coil.
I know you only lose your appendix once. So,
Well, I still can go back in and get it removed. In fact, they want to do that.
Right.
So I got some follow-up stuff going on. And the great thing is I get to have the real fun test.
What's that?
The fun test.
Oh,
the gay test. No, I'm kidding.
I didn't say that. It's the camera in the funny area.
Oh,
colonoscopy, which I'm making light of it, but everybody should get that.
Yeah,
everybody. They say actually now that if you're 45, you should get it.
It's 45 now.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple years, so that's good. I'm gonna think about it for a couple years.
Colonoscopy is fine. I mean, they put you out. The worst part is you can't eat for 24 hours.
Yeah, you go through the real cleansing part of it, which everybody doesn't like. And it's anytime you talk about your ass, people are always like, "Oh, I don't want to do that."
Yeah. That's my butt.
You get your throat looked at, your ears looked at. It's the same thing.
I don't mind a nurse shoving stuff up my ass. I'm fine. Yeah.
It's a big long camera.
Some people have to pay for that.
Actually, it's funny because I did have this when I turned 50, and I went in, and it was these 3 beautiful nurses.
Yeah,
and I was like, wow, this is interesting.
Right.
Ken, Alan, and Bob.
Why are you even questioning whether or not you're going to take it out? Like, just go take it out.
So my business partner Nico's wife is a surgeon.
Okay,
and she said, you know what? You probably have the likelihood of getting another appendicitis as anybody in the population, the general population that hasn't had one yet. So I was like, well, that's pretty good.
Yeah,
right.
And you don't want anybody cutting into you. I mean, things can go sideways with that. They can cut into your your abdomen. It could be bad.
You're a sealed container. You should pretty much stay that way for as long as possible.
If possible.
Yeah.
I like that sealed container. But it was the first time I've ever been in a hospital stay like that. I don't think I've ever been in the hospital.
Oh, really?
Yeah, maybe when I was a kid, I had some tubes put in my ear because that's what they did back in the 40s.
Yeah.
1840s, am I right? Because you're old.
I've had a couple of stays, a couple of stints in the hospital. The only fun thing about it is the drugs.
Yeah.
Really,
Oh, for sure. Well, they tell you in the hospital it's not for sleeping; it's for resting.
Well, and I was at the hospital. I was at Kaiser Walnut Creek. I probably told this story before. And I'm laying there watching the news, and they do a news report on Bay Area hospitals with the highest mortality rate. And my hospital was number 1.
Nice.
And I'm laying there, and I find these things funny, so I commented about about it to the nurse when she came in. I was like, hey, you know who just got rated number 1 in mortality here? She's like, what? I was like, you guys did. And she did not find it funny at all.
Yeah.
She's like, well, we deal with some very serious diseases here. I was like, whoa, okay, I'm laughing with you.
Sir, I make 6 figures. Please do not talk about my coworkers like that.
Right, yeah. Meanwhile, they have a patient with MRSA in the same hospital room as a guy who just had open chest surgery. So that's actually the reason you have the highest mortality rate.
Oh, wow. Wow.
They were morons. And so you have to put somebody with MRSA in their own room. And so...
What is it, MRSA?
Yeah, it's like it's one of these antibiotic-resistant bacteria
it just grows
infections.
Lysol.
It's very serious in hospitals. And so they leave me in the room with this person for 2 days before they decide, it's MRSA. So to remedy the problem, they move me into the hallway, the public hallway, for 4 hours until they have a room available for me. So Kaiser Walnut Creek, not as good as the one you went to, Sully.
I mean, brand new building in Oakland.
Okay.
Every room is a single room.
Yeah, nice.
And the food's not bad.
Okay.
And they come in there. It's almost like Delta Airlines now. Delta Airlines is checking on you constantly on a flight. They're always like, "Are you okay, sir?
Oh my gosh.
Don't forget, I think they're all worried about reviews and all that.
Do you need help pulling your pants back up, sir?
But the funny thing about this is like classic hospital thing. So I'm there. And, they say, we're not going to disturb you from, 10 o'clock till 6 o'clock in the morning. And maybe to come in and change your IV bag. But,
your diaper.
My diaper.
Yeah.
No, I could get up and do that, by the way.
Okay.
But, one day, probably not.
Yeah.
And so, but it's hilarious. And I think it's hospital policy. So I'm laying there, and I'll say these 2 women burst in at midnight.
Whoa.
And we have to check you for bed sores. And I was like, what?
Oh my God. I've been here for 4 hours.
If they're analyzing, because I think what it is they get a lot of people from nursing homes or people that are bedridden coming in, and then they leave with the same sores, and then they would probably be blamed for it.
Okay.
So what they do is they come and essentially document, this person has bed sores.
The elderly patients.
Yes, exactly. So they came in and they're feeling the bottom of my feet, they're feeling my elbows, they're feeling my back. It was my heels. I just want
to go back to bed.
But my whole thing was really at midnight this has to happen,
right?
Yeah. So I was thinking, because you think a lot when you're in a bed.
Sure.
I was thinking maybe they have to do this within 10 hours of you arriving or something crazy like that.
Yeah. So. That sounds, the hospitals are the worst. It's an awful experience.
But I will give props to the 10th floor nursing staff.
Okay.
Shout outs. Let's go.
Yeah. And what's funny is my doctor was actually Dr. Stern. And she was very stern.
Very
She's a great doctor, by the way. I want to say she's a great doctor. But
my doctors were the worst. They came in, they used me for training. So I had this open sore on my hand, right? And the doctor comes in with a gaggle of students, and he's like, "Do you mind if they, watch while I do this, examine you or whatever?" I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." So he goes, "So listen, here's what I'm going to do because we're going to try to not have surgery. I'm going to shove this thing into the open wound in your hand and see if we can get it to clean up that way. Are you okay with that?" And I'm like,
oh boy.
If your students are okay hearing me scream curse words at you while you do it, I'm okay with it. And he says, that will be fine.
And then he didn't even finish the sentence.
So he does it, and I jump out of it. I scream, "You motherfucker!" I'm just screaming. And he looks at his students. He goes, "So we're going to have to do surgery on this one. This method will not work." And you just did a look on all the students' faces. They were horrified. Kaiser Walnut Creek, not so good.
So same thing happened to me. I didn't scream like that, but they wanted to press on my belly the whole time, and it was very painful. So every time I just grabbed their hand, you got to stop doing that.
Yeah.
So
you're much calmer.
It's funny. I got to say, when we wrapped up the show last time, you made a comment Sully, you were kind of a little you kind of a little off. Maybe just getting, remember that? Do you remember that? You were kind of going off on me, maybe. And then you made a comment, well, there's guest Sully, and then there's host Sully.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I had a level 9 pain, and I'm over here I've got a animal chewing my gut out, and I don't want to be found out by the VC Army or something like that.
Well, listen, when you're done making excuses for your poor performance, maybe you'll get back to the Sully we know and love.
Well, I think you have them right now at 89%.
Yeah, right. Well, I feel terrible. I'm so glad you're okay and that nothing worse happened, man.
And actually, when I was coming over here, I actually jaywalked. I ran across the street because I was like, screw it, I'm taking this whole thing.
Wow. Sully's back to himself. He's feeling spry. Did you click your heels in midair, too? Or?
I did.
I'm free.
Well, and our AC is not working, so now you have to sit here and sweat it out with
You
us.
know what? I was going to say earlier that this reminds me of the old days in the garage in Pacheco.
Right.
But you had AC in there.
Kind of.
You had it for like the fourth season.
I would have to turn the AC on the night before.
That's right. I remember that.
To cool it down to about 80.
That's right.
Basically. So,
and my only Bart story is this, because I want to talk about this for we don't have to do it now because we've probably gone over.
That's all right.
You're on a schedule here.
We got
but first of all, I love Bart, but this Bart, first of all, no AC on that train.
Oh, that's the worst.
And I'm looking around and I'm standing up. And the car is stopping and going. So I haven't experienced that before.
Yeah.
And I love Bart, by the way. And I'm looking around the room, and I'm like pouring sweat.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody in there, I don't know if they're just acclimated to this. This is what they do every day.
That they were fine.
Everybody was just fine. Like this happens all the time.
Wow.
Yeah, and you're like calm Berkeley temperatures. Like your body's acclimated to being high up in the atmosphere above everybody else, and then you come down here to the common man syndrome, where it's the temperature of the surface of the sun.
Yes.
And you're like, how do you guys stand this?
I didn't even know this existed. I read about this in history books.
That's right. I need my flying horse to come and gather me back up.
Do you think that there's a chance that the AC actually was working and you're having an appendicitis? Is that possible?
Well, last week, yes. This week, 89% sure.
Okay, yeah.
11% positive that it's happening.
Bart's the worst.
Bart sucks, dude. Bart is the worst thing to ever exist.
Yeah.
And it's, like my friend and I take it every once in a while just to go out to Oakland, for some drinks and whatever. And, you missed that one train we were talking about a couple months ago. You missed the train. You're there for 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, you're hanging out.
And he had just come back from England.
Yeah.
And he's like, you missed the train. Nobody runs for the trains because there's another one 2 minutes away.
Yeah.
But it costs $15 to get from my house to Oakland and back. And it's like, I can't have another train. I have to wait here for 15 minutes. It's 11:30. The platform is reasonably full. There's still a lot of people out.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just kind of pretend that we care about things?
Well, in Berkeley, I could have lent you my golden rainbow pony.
Yeah.
That's true.
All right. Well, this segment's brought to you by Bart.
By Andrew Yang, his $1,000 a year thing, which will pay for Bart.
Actually, though, thank you to our sponsor, More Beer, who brings you this show and every session that we do. Go to morebeer.com and check them out. They've been with us for years, as you know. On today's show, we've got RIIP Beer Company, Riip Beer Company, out of Huntington Beach, California. And Ian McCall is in the studio with us.
Ian McCall sounds like he's in, like, Oasis.
It does, yeah. He came all the way up from Southern California to be on the program, so we're going to be talking to them today.
Nice.
All right, let's get through just a couple of announcements. Announcements are brought to you by Drake's Brewing Company. Go to drinkdrakes.com right now and check out any one of their greater Bay Area locations, or even the new place up in Sacramento called The Barn, or my favorite, Drake's dealership down there in Oakland. All right, BNA 14, our 14th anniversary party tickets are on sale. It's Saturday, June 29th. It starts at 6 p.m. That's the VIP hour, and then general admission will go at 7. I rented out an awesome venue, Fett Music Hall in Providence, Rhode Island, and I've got a special band, a surprise performance.
Oasis
that's going to play. It's actually now cat's out of the bag.
Sorry.
Way to go!
I saw it on a piece of paper on your desk.
Go get your tickets. They're cheap. It's like $35, and it's all you can drink. And I'm curating a great list of beer. I got some Trillium beer that's going to be there. Some Heretic beer is going to be there. I did not see 21A on my distributor list. I don't know if you guys are in Rhode Island yet.
I don't know if we are.
So, but if I find that, there'll be some 21A beer.
Thank you.
So go to thebrewingnetwork.com and get your tickets today before they sell out, please, and come party with us. Also, your ticket gives you a chance to win the official Brewing Network More Beer brew sculpture.
That's right. It's exciting times.
It's got quite a pedigree. It was Jamil's brewery first, and then it's been mine, and now it will be one of yours. So get your tickets.
Wow, you're going to send that to just a listener?
Yep. We're going to refurb the whole thing. More Beer is participating in that. Get it all in tip-top shape. And then what we might do, actually, I'm still mulling this over, is bring the listener out here to brew with, like, me and Jamil and Chris Graham from More Beer, and then we'll ship it, home for them. So
you'll clean it out before you ship it, though, right?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, yeah.
Somebody will.
Well, someone at More Beer will.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah. That's like the PH1. Is that what they call it? The barrel from Rare Barrel that's moved around to New Belgium. And
that's what this is. It's going to be, it's the same brew sculpture that Jamil created all of his award-winning recipes that he wrote the book Brewing Classic Styles with.
I love that book. I actually refer to that book often. Every beer I've brewed that we currently distribute is from that.
It's Jamil's. Yeah,
it's just Jamil's.
Yeah,
that's right.
Great book, and they were all brewed on the sculpture we're giving away.
That's awesome.
So get your tickets.
It's not PH1 like the bread. It's PU1.
Yeah,
stinky.
It's a great little machine. I love it. I'm going to miss it.
Is it made out of wood?
Yeah,
because it's so old.
It's very
stone, actually.
Stone and bamboo.
Yeah, Jamil found these stone tablets. They're two. They were pretty big. I don't know. They just had some scrawling on them, but he cut them and made
this thing. Yeah, it's great. It's great.
Okay, Noah.
All right, so go to thebrewingnetwork.com and click on the BNA 14 picture and get yourself tickets. You can do your Amazon shopping and support us. Just click on the Amazon link. I did see an email from somebody saying that when they click on the Amazon link, they didn't see the banner to do their Amazon shopping. Okay. And that is because you have your banners blocked. You have ad blocker is turned on. Because I did double check it. It's there, but if your ad blocker is off, you're not going to see my Amazon link, and I would like you to see it.
Hold on a second. I meant Moses earlier. Okay. Last week I said 52 states too. I think, and Beverly is like my corrector over here. I blame the appendix. Today I blame nothing.
If Beverly is your corrector, you are not doing well in life.
She's done right by me so far.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to know the difference between Noah and Moses.
Well, okay. Yeah. She does do well with her biblical
She's
studies.
been indoctrinated long enough. She knows.
Yeah.
That's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah. All right.
That's awesome.
Check out all of the Brewing Network shows wherever you like to get your podcasts. We've got the new Hop and Brew School show up there. What do we got? We got Sour Hour if you like sour beer. We got the Heads and Tails if you like distilling.
Hell yeah.
We got a whole bunch of shows over there, so tell your friends about them too. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Steal their phones and subscribe to all of our shows on their things.
Yes, that's the way to do it.
Thank you.
And speaking of subscribe, you can subscribe and join the BN Army for as little as $2 a month. It's just a great way to support us. Plus, you're entered into the More Beer monthly donation giveaway, which is a chance to win $100 to spend over at More Beer. Yeah. Go find us over on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Send your feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com. We love to hear from you, and you can send your show ideas there as well. Okay. Twitter game?
Yeah, Twitter game.
Twitter game is brought to you today by Beersmith. Go to beersmith.com and get your free 21-day trial of the best, hands down, the best brewing software on the market. It's got the new version has support for mead, wine, and cider. It's got a mash pH estimation and adjustment tool right in the recipe builder. It has things. I don't even know what all the things are. I don't know what they are.
That's right.
Somebody does, and that's Brad Smith.
Yes.
And he put them there for a reason, and you can go use them.
For smarter people than us.
Yes.
To figure out what they are.
Go to beersmith.com.
They're like Easter eggs.
And do that.
They're hidden functions.
Yes.
That smart. Remember when there were Easter eggs in like DVDs, and you had to go to like the hidden corner of the menu, and you had to just know to like maneuver the cursors on your DVD?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like that.
I remember that.
It is like
it's
that.
It's weird, right?
It's.
They got to bring that back.
Now they just put them in. They just put them into the trailers
at the end.
Yeah, like Marvel changed all that.
People aren't smart anymore. That's why we can't have nice things.
This is absolutely correct.
Beersmith.com, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
What's our Twitter game?
Our Twitter game today is inspired by Scott, actually, our own personal Moscow. Inspired by Scott's opinions on Bevo's various parts we were talking about in the last show. Tell us what your least favorite body part of ours is.
Okay, any one of us.
Yeah, except for Beverly. Leaving Bevo out of it.
Bevo out.
Yeah. So it's, basically anybody else on the show.
Right.
You can even go deeper. You can go Jamil if you want.
Okay.
Brian Cooper, Brian Shar.
Okay.
Hey, I'm over here. I'm on the show part-time.
Nick
for
from
example,
Hop Brew School.
Sully's least favorite body part right now is his appendix.
You just gave it away. That could have been an answer, and you just gave it away.
I always have to do the best one first.
That's right.
Ruin the game. All right. Thank you for that, JP.
Hey, man, you know what? You're welcome.
Great.
You're welcome for that.
So we didn't really get any feedback enough this week to make a whole segment out of it. So send your feedback to feedback@thebrewingnetwork.com, and we will put your messages on air. But before the break, I did want to tell you about something I've just discovered, and that is Duke Cannon. Have you guys tried the Duke Cannon stuff?
I haven't. I've heard about it, but I haven't had a chance to figure it out yet.
So I'm not going to lie. I was not familiar with Duke Cannon until they reached out to me to become a sponsor. But to do so, they wanted me to try their products first. And I'm like a creature of habit. I don't change the stuff I do very often.
Oh, I know that.
I am a 100% convert to the Duke Cannon stuff. And I'm being serious. This is not in my live read information.
No, you're not even looking at the computer screen right now.
So, but like, so they have this thing called, they have several of them called a big-ass brick of soap. Right?
Yep.
And it's literally that. It's a giant square block of soap.
I like that.
And I thought, well, who needs that? Like, I'm used to using like the sissy gel stuff now, and like
you're a body wash
like
guy.
a loofah, right?
Oh, damn.
Still in hotel soap.
I don't know what happened to my masculinity, but at some point I left it somewhere.
Sure.
So, but I try the stuff, right? Because it's free for me. They send it to me.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. Well,
I now have like a stockpile of the gel that I'm never going to use.
Okay.
It smells like the outdoors, like fresh pine. Like, I smell better than I've ever smelled.
You smell great.
You smell better than trees, I would think.
It does smell better than trees.
Right?
They even have one that smells like campfire. They have that. You'd think that's awful. It's not.
Like a musky sandalwood kind of campfire thing?
Yes,
okay.
yes.
All right.
Which brings me to my next favorite product of theirs.
Yeah.
I never wear cologne. I just don't.
Oh, okay.
I do now.
Oh,
wow.
Really?
They have this thing. Let me make sure I get the name of it right.
Boy.
You've had a moment with this. This is awesome.
It's
Keep going.
It's called solid cologne. So it's like a concentrated balm. Like a balm, so you rub. It looks like chapstick kind of thing, but it's in like this,
I know what that is.
It's in this little tin.
Yeah.
You wipe it on your fingers and you put it wherever. And the one I'm using is like aged in Buffalo Trace barrels.
Really? Wow.
So it has like the one I'm using is called bourbon.
Okay, well, clearly, yeah, that makes sense.
I smell amazing.
Really?
I'm not wearing it today.
You don't even like spirits.
I don't.
Yeah, so that's an odd choice that you would choose that one to try. But
right, and I find myself probably using too much of it because I like it so much.
Really
so
like
like after the same amount, like after a couple days, I became desensitized to it.
Yeah.
So like I kept putting more on.
Well, and so
because I really like the smell.
So here's the question, which happens with, and it reminds me of like being in high school when you first discover cologne, and you're like, oh, well, this is what a real man. This is what a man uses as an adult, right?
Yes.
And then you inherently use too much.
Yes.
Is it, if you put too much on, are you stinking people out of the room, or is it still a subdued
I think
thing?
That it's subdued. I have not heard different from anybody who's been around me with it on. But what I do hear from everyone is how damn good I smell.
Wow.
That's happening.
Huh.
And I like that.
You put some Barry White music on.
Yeah. So
make love and be love.
I just wanted to do...
That sounds great.
I just wanted to say all that because, like I said, it's not often that I change things like this. And my whole routine has changed.
Nice.
I now bathe every day.
Okay.
That's different for me.
Really?
Yes. Because I like it so much. I have quit smoking.
Yeah, so
really?
You're
Duke
turning
Cannon
a corner
saved
here.
my...
Wow. Hey.
Yeah, I stopped smoking...
Congratulations, buddy.
Almost 2 months ago or something now. It's been a while.
Wow.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I go to the gym often.
What?
Yeah.
Where's this coming from? Because weeks ago you wanted to die.
Right, and I kind of still do.
Yeah.
I guess...
He heard about my appendicitis and his whole world turned around.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I wasn't feeling very good, and I just one day was like, well, you can do some things.
You can do something about it.
And anyway, so there you go.
You know what we should do is get into cryptocurrency and lose it all. And then that will really drive the death pool back and get that going again.
You're probably right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I feel like the death pool is really boring right now.
Yeah,
I'm
telling you, invest in crypto. Let's start pushing something.
Make Justin miserable again.
Yeah,
basically.
Right.
JP, you've said that crypto thing like 5 times on the show. What's going on in your world?
I'm miserable.
All right.
Okay, so go to DukeCannon.com and then use coupon code BREWING, and it's going to give you 15% off your first order with coupon code BREWING. Plus, you'll get free shipping on orders over $35. And look, I don't know if you consider me a reliable source
on hygiene,
but right. But I love this stuff.
Okay.
And once again, I'm using the bourbon cologne. Don't everybody use? I don't want everybody smelling as good as me. There are other ones.
You should ask them to take it off the webpage.
Exactly, and just reserve it. It should change its name to Justin.
Yes, private stock.
What else they have? They have there's one of their big ass bricks. So I'm using the fresh cut pine brick of soap.
Okay,
really like that one. They also have one that's called leaf and leather. Dude. I have that one too. It smells really good.
Yeah, hook it up, dude. I want to try some of that shit.
So
I need to smell good.
Yeah. Check it all out. And by the way, everything they do is developed and tested with military people apparently. So like they don't do anything that hasn't gone through like a rigorous, test of some kind. I don't know. They have like a beard wash. I'm going to give Beardy some of that when he gets back.
Yeah.
I've used it, but I don't have much of a beard. But I like that stuff too.
Okay.
Duke Cannon, use coupon code BREWING, and my rant is over.
Nice.
It's good stuff.
Sounds good.
I'm telling you. Okay, so what do I have to do? I have to take a break right now. And then when we come back, we're going to be speaking with Riip Beer Company, RIIP Beer Company out of Huntington Beach, California. They brought us a bunch of beer to try. I'm already having their pale ale. What did you get?
Their Belgian table beer.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think that's on our list to try when we come back from the break.
So
I'm excited. They have. I read the list of the beers. There's an Imperial Stout there.
Oh, yeah.
There's an IPA. There's a pale ale, and then there's the table beer.
All on
Should
tap.
I not said that? Did I give it away?
No, you're fine.
Now we don't have to do the show.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Good night, everybody.
All on tap right here at the Hop Grenade Tap Room in Concord, California. Hang in there. This is The Session, and we will be right back.
Hey, this is Julian Trego from Beechwood Brewing, and you are listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. As promised, we've got Riip Beer Company in the studio with us today from Huntington Beach, California. Ian McCall is their head brewer. Welcome to the studio, man.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
I apprate you driving all the way up here, flying up here however you got here.
Yeah. Driving's for monkeys.
That's true.
Wow.
Thanks for coming up and bringing us beer. We've got a bunch of your beer on tap here at the Hop Grenade if anyone wants to come down and check it out. Got the Warriors game going on out there, too. So
they're playing tonight.
Yeah, so you're welcome, everybody. I'm missing that. I hope we don't get booted today.
I wish we would have looked at the score before I came in here, but
we were up. I looked, and it's still early in the game, but it was like up by 10.
Is it like the last thing or something?
If we lose, Toronto basically just needs to win one more. So if we don't win tonight and every other game, it's over. And tonight and tomorrow, it's in Toronto. So my Canadian listeners, fuck off.
Well, look, if it makes you feel better, the Canadians can't win at hockey, so they're going to win at basketball, and that's, that's a trade-off.
First time ever that Toronto has been, in their franchise history, even made it to the playoffs.
Oh, I hope they win.
So
well, good for them.
They do.
Tight.
It would be, and the whole country is going insane over there.
Yeah.
So
I love Canada.
Yeah, it's. What's not to like? Eh?
I was in Toronto actually about a month ago. Nice city.
Toronto is a nice city. Anyway, go Warriors.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
So, Ian.
Yes, please.
How long have you guys been open? When did Riip start?
So Riip started about approximately 3 years ago, a little bit more.
Okay.
Started as a nano brewery.
Oh, yeah.
It was a 3.5 barrel stout system originally.
Okay.
In a small industrial park in Huntington Beach, right off of Gothard and Heil.
Hang on. I read on your website that you guys started with a more beer brewing sculpture at some point?
Yeah, so Ryan and Ryan, who are the founders of Riip Beer Company, they did start on a more beer system.
Wow. They were commercially producing beer on that.
I don't know how long that lasted for exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Before they moved into the 3.5 barrel nano.
So that's what you brew on now. You're still a 3.5 barrel nano, or no?
No. Thank God.
Okay. So that what size do you have?
We have a 10 barrel system currently.
Okay.
It's from SS Brewtech.
Got it.
We have. It's funny to say we have the third system they ever made.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that good or bad? Like, did that?
I think it's both. But I'll tell you what, the guys over there kick ass, and anytime I have an issue, a problem, or I need something to get repaired, they are on top of it.
Oh, that's great.
Wow, that's great.
Tell me about the name. Where did Riip come from?
I think it sounds really cool.
Yeah,
I think that's the story that I've gotten is that it doesn't mean anything necessarily. It sounds cool.
Yeah.
Ryan Rasmussen, one of the founders of the company, has a couple other companies, and they all kind of have similar names.
Okay.
And we just call it Ryan's Insane Investment Property.
Okay. Right. Yeah, and that it is.
And that investment property has a good logo, actually.
Yeah.
Nice. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah, good branding. Same with the delivery truck I saw on your website. That's good branding. That thing's cool.
1931 Helms truck.
So I read on your site, too, that your guys, your founders, couldn't afford the permitting at the time of opening in order to sell beer on the premise.
I don't know so much that it was the permitting.
Mm-hmm.
I think the city of Huntington Beach was having issues giving them a CUP to actually serve beer on premise.
They couldn't get any cups?
They needed a cup, right?
Why didn't you call me, Ian? I'd have brought you guys.
They're really cheap.
He runs a festival. He's got thousands.
Could use
of them.
plastics.
Least I could do.
Right.
It's okay.
Conditional use permit for the site that they were originally at.
I see.
It was just in the middle of this industrial area, which I know all breweries are, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it was size. I have no clue.
So they couldn't get that. So that sparked the idea to deliver beer to your customers.
Yeah, after talking to a few different attorneys who specialize in the beer industry, they decided that it was legal and okay to start delivering beer to customers in the city of Huntington Beach and some surrounding areas. So they used that 1931 Helms truck for a period of time,
right,
to actually get beer delivered in growlers to their customers.
Sure. I haven't decided yet, this far into the interview, if your founders are brilliant or if they're fucking idiots. Because to start on a nano, right, are very difficult to do.
Yeah.
I love this idea of delivering beer, but it sounds so difficult to do.
It really is.
But it
sounds
worked.
Annoying.
Yes.
That's really, it's like, fuck, really got to fill 20 growlers and take them to these idiots. Like, I don't want to do
but
this.
it also kind of sounds fun.
It does.
But it's,
doesn't it sound fun?
It does.
Kinda?
It sounds. But also to pile on here a little bit, like at a 1931 truck. I mean,
Well,
could you-
yeah.
did
That doesn't work out so well
have
anymore.
Like
That doesn't happen.
It's not the most reliable vehicle.
Yeah, we have a Nissan Versa now.
There you go. There you go.
So you do still deliver beer?
From time to time,
okay.
yeah. If we're staffed up in the tasting room and somebody calls in a delivery and we can make it happen, we will.
Okay.
Now, something that we discuss all the time is taking the deliveries back to full time.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is you need staff that's going to be able to fulfill orders at any time of the day.
Right.
So having somebody on staff who can be ready to take orders,
that's their job. Yeah.
Fill them and fulfill them.
Yeah.
Is a hard thing to do.
Can I clarify something? When you mean...
Yeah.
When you say place orders, like me as a general idiot can call up and go, I'd like 2 growlers delivered
it's like,
to my
it's
house.
like delivery pizza, right?
Really?
Or milk.
Yeah, as long as you're within our delivery range,
You can
happily.
deliver a growler.
Were you charging a delivery fee for this as well?
Oh, you have to, right?
I don't know 100% that we are at the moment. Again.
Why is this so weird, guys? I mean, we have like food delivered from
It's
Grubhub.
weird because no one does it. And I love this idea.
true. Yeah.
I think it's the coolest thing,
I think
actually.
it's great. I'm defending him here. I don't know what's going on.
No, it's completely rad, but also completely bonkers. Like, I've never heard of this.
Yeah.
It sounds insane.
And
it sounds like something you would craft just to kind of like, well, let's just see if we get caught. Let's see if we get in trouble for this.
Yeah.
Let's challenge it. I don't know.
Our legal counsel approves of us doing this, so it's okay.
See if we get caught.
It's also kind of funny that you can't get a conditional use permit on premise, but you can deliver beer.
Well, it is wild because, I mean, as a business owner, I mean, if I just dropped it on the table there.
Yeah.
Like, if you told me, like, we can't open up our tap room and we have to deliver beer, I would pause. I would literally think, like, huh. But then you have that inertia, like, we got to do something here. What can we do? What can we do? What can we do?
How are we going to sell our beer?
You got to make money.
You got all the stuff you've outlaid. You've signed leases. You've got people all ready to get paid, and you're like, well, we got to do something.
I also think it must have given you a healthy amount of publicity by doing something unique like that.
Yeah, there's been a few news networks who have done stories on Riip.
Okay.
I just got sent one today on my Instagram feed.
Really? Yeah.
The city of Huntington Beach reposted.
Wow!
Yeah.
Wow! Yeah, because it's unique and
It was in Playboy.
I
read. Right?
It was? Oh,
Yeah,
probably,
it was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shit.
I only read
I
the
can't
pictures.
actually confirm that because I wasn't with the company then.
So I didn't see it. In that, but
There's words in Playboy?
yeah. Okay.
Only now.
Wait, what?
So how long did that go on before you could serve beer on premises, or can you still not?
So we still do own that original premise that had the nano system in it. It doesn't contain any brewing equipment anymore. It's basically all cold storage now.
I see.
And some dry storage. So in order to get around that, they actually built out a tasting room where our brewery currently is at. We're down at the corner of Warner and PCH, like we're Warner dead ends.
Wow.
So from our patio, if you've ever been there, you can actually almost see the waves crash.
That's awesome.
You can see the beach and the water. It's a pretty gorgeous area.
And I'm going to be honest. Huntington Beach is about the only place in the greater LA area that I like.
Well, we'll take that. Yeah.
I like the Bay Area. I like San Diego. Everything in between,
You don't like that.
But Huntington Beach is a cool town.
It is a cool town. Absolutely.
Are you from there?
Born and raised.
Yep. That's excellent.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a homecoming coming back to Huntington to brew beer.
Okay. Where did you brew before Riip?
My initial brewing job was at Brewbakers in Huntington Beach as well.
What is that?
Brewbakers was a brew on premise.
Okay.
That opened up. It actually opened up downtown Huntington Beach, and probably ran down there for about 10, 12 years.
That's a long time.
Before moving to the Gothard Hile location, which is where I started working in 2001, 2002.
So it still exists, this brew on premise?
It does not. No, unfortunately, there was some change of ownership, and it didn't quite work out.
What was your take on the brew on premise? Was it popular? I've never been to one, but I always thought it's one of those ideas that's, again, either brilliant and everyone will want one, or no one ever goes. Kind of like mini golf.
There was a time and place that I think it was very popular. I mean, when I started at Brewbakers in 2001, I think there were still 3 or 4 brew on premises in the greater LA area.
Okay.
Wicks and Riverside opened up not too long after that as well.
Okay.
So I think there was still some momentum there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there were times in that 3 to 5 year, I was like 5-year period that I was there.
Yeah.
That we were crushing it. We were having a great time.
Wow. And what was your job? To just assist people through?
We had 6 kettles on site.
Okay.
They were all, I guess they're 20-gallon kettles brewing 15-gallon batches. All steam fired or steam powered.
Wow.
And I would run on a busy night.
Mm-hmm.
Like we had on Thursdays, you could brew 1 case of beer. So you're brewing 6 total, but you would only purchase 1 case of beer.
Okay.
Of that, and come back a few weeks later and package it.
I see. Why?
That was basically the idea behind the brew on premise, at least as it worked at Brewbakers, is you have your customers coming in, you're overseeing them, but they're making beer that you're going to eventually serve for you.
Okay.
So you could purchase the full 6 cases, and everything you brewed, you would come back in a few weeks later, you'd bottle it, you'd create your own label, you'd take it home and you be able to enjoy it with your buddies. You do a half batch or a single case 1 day a week.
So you got free labor.
Yeah. But so on those days, on Thursdays, we were so busy, we would turn those 6 kettles 3 times.
Wow.
And there were days we'd do 18 batches of beer.
Wow.
And it was just nonstop.
Okay. And so someone would brew, and then they come back 3 weeks later or something, and they get to take their beer home.
Yeah, we'd process. We'd kind of watch all fermentation, handle all transferring into the large 15-gallon scuds, the corny kegs.
Yeah.
Handle carbonation, filtration.
Wow.
And get it ready for them to come back and package on 2-head bottle fillers.
Okay. That's a pretty cool concept.
I think it really is, and I think it could do well. Yeah. I've thought long and hard and many sleepless nights thinking about this.
Okay.
I'd love to make better beer.
I see. Now, why is that? Because you don't have enough control over the process with the brewers?
It was all partial mash brewing. It's mash and extract. And it's all single kettle as well.
Got it.
So there's really no movement now.
So that's a good point, because then it's not like people are like telling all their friends about the great beer at your place.
Right.
They're
telling their friends that they made beer at this place.
But if you could have them saying both, it would be more successful,
awesome.
right? You know, maybe even win a couple medals with the beer or something, and get the publicity work that way.
100%, yeah.
And free labor.
But I can't imagine what it would cost. I mean, I thought you buy 6 brew sculptures.
Right.
Now you need, rather than having one person who can oversee 6 kettles, you probably need 6 people to oversee
everyone.
6 sculptures.
Yeah.
Well,
and your overhead's crazy.
Well, you have the problem also that not everyone wants to do all the labor to do all grain brewing.
100%.
Like we used to do classes, I'm sure they still do at More Beer, and we would do an all grain and an extract. The other problem we would have is that hardly anybody would come back to do the packaging.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted the experience, and the classes were just to teach people how to make beer, so it was a different clientele.
Right.
But it's the fear of like that labor of like, oh, you mean I have to do shit now?
Yeah.
I can't just stand around and drink beer and watch you do shit.
Right.
I think that would be hard. I think that would be a hard sort of clientele to.
You could, though.
Hit.
What if you had something like 2 largish mash tuns, and you just created the wort for 6 systems that day? Basically, whatever day you're coming in to brew, you get to choose 2 styles of beer.
For sure.
And you can hop them differently and everything else, but there's only 2 worts that, maybe less labor, less equipment,
right,
and possibly better beer. I don't know why I'm coming up with this.
I'm going to do this. Yeah. It's a great thought, and it's one that we talked about for a long time. It never came to life. With regard to the labor and packaging, we just let our customers drink as much beer as they wanted to from their batch.
That's how you got it.
So if you bought 3 cases, a half batch, they'd probably drink. They bring in their friends and family and probably drink another case and a half.
Right.
There you go. Less labor. It's the brew on premise concept is big in Canada, but it's wine on premise.
I see.
And so that kind of, I think, translated, sort of drifted down here, and it hasn't really caught on.
It was more for tax purposes in like Canada. I mean, beer is expensive up there, and so I think the nations that actually use the brew on premise concept is that they it's cheaper for you to have beer in your house if you brew it at a brew on premise than to go out and buy it.
I see. Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, it was wasn't the concept you bring your friends? It was like a party atmosphere.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
People that had one at Davis, and it was like they were all about you have a bachelor party or something like that. And you kind of play up to it.
Now it's painting ceramics and tasting Chardonnay. That's the new thing.
Did that yesterday.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I met my wife at Brewbakers, and there were some times in the early days when we would party a little too hard every single night. She'd show up. She'll tell you she'd show up to work with a bottle of Pepto and a few Gatorades.
Oh man!
And I'd get through the next day.
Yeah, just to get back to normal.
That's a good woman.
Ouch! That's right.
Well, congratulations.
Bring me my recovery kit.
Well, let's talk about your beer as well.
I don't have beer.
The first beer that we have in our glass is your Mandarina.
Mandarina Rustica, yeah.
Tell us about this.
So this is a 4.5% Belgian table beer. I love this style. It's easy to drink. It's a patio pounder. This beer, the grist on this is Barca Pils from Weyermann.
Okay.
Weyermann Spelt and Flaked Oats.
Okay.
So pretty simple, basic grist. And it's 100% Mandarina Bavaria hops all the way through.
Got it.
So there's a bittering charge, a middle charge, a whirlpool charge, and then this gets for about 14 BUs in the kettle.
Okay.
And then this gets about 3/4 of a pound per barrel dry hop of Mandarina as well.
Got it. This is a great beer.
Thank you very much.
I love the aroma as well. That just starts with that. And
super refreshing.
Yeah.
What's the yeast you use?
This is Imperial Rustic.
Mm-hmm. It's also hazy, everybody.
It is.
But by style, of course.
Murky?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not easy.
Why spelt? What does that do?
Spelt is kind of it's a more, that's not rarefied. It's an older form
grain?
of...
Yeah,
ancient grain, older form of wheat.
Is it kind of traditional?
It gives it more of a raw... I don't know. Is there a traditional Belgian table beer that...
It probably is. I've been making bilge for a long time.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean,
right.
that we drink over here, I don't know.
Yeah.
I want a beer that I can sit down at a table or sit on a patio and crush all day.
Yeah.
It's great. It's easy drinking. It's got kind of a very complex malt thing going on there. I really like it.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And it's 4.5, and it's wonderful.
You can have it while you're on antibiotics, Sully. I think it's okay.
There you go.
It's Sully safe.
Actually, it says at the bottom of my prescription says you have to have a Belgian table beer with this.
That makes sense. Yeah. No, that's a really nice beer,
and it's a great propagator too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. There you
use
go.
it for your next.
Yep, totally.
But it would have to be a Belgian style, right? Or,
yeah, of course.
Yeah? Okay.
I'll usually run this out of out of the table beer into maybe a saison.
Okay.
And then I've got a Belgian dark strong and a Belgian golden.
Nice.
Kind of run them into.
Do you ferment this warm?
Yeah. So this beer gets fermented. The SS system actually we don't have a cold lick or hot lick. So currently, until we get my new glycol. Set up. We're knocking this out during the summer.
Okay.
High 70s.
Wow. Yeah.
And we'll let it run up to about 84.
Okay. And you kind of cap it there, or that's just where it ends up?
We'll cap it at 84.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, it's a nice beer.
Yeah, it's good.
I like that, and I agree on the 4%. side.
Oh, yeah. That's the reason that's the first beer that I got.
Yeah, that's a nice beer.
It's delicious.
Okay, and the next beer, I want to get through this too. It's so warm in the studio that I usually don't rush us through the beers, but I don't want you all to have to drink warm beer.
Yeah,
the glasses are cold.
Now, this one is called Riip to be Square.
Riip to be Square.
Obviously a play on, what's his name? Huey Lewis.
Oh.
Huey Lewis.
A little Huey Lewis song.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually an American Psycho reference.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if you remember that scene in American Psycho where he axes the dude.
Oh, yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
Hey, Paul.
Yes. And again, with the name Riip, works good for beer names too, right?
Yeah, it does.
So,
We actually play Riip into a lot of different beer names.
give me a couple others.
Quick.
Oh, shit.
Ready to go.
Giving the beer names off the rip.
Thank you.
Riffing on the Rip.
See? Off the rip. I'm cool.
Well done.
I'm cool.
Well, the beer we have at the end of the day, actually at the end of the segment, or whatever, second half, is going to be the Rizzo.
Nice.
And so you can see we played the two eyes into the Rizzo.
Yep.
Like
Very
Rizzo
nice.
the Rat or like the RZA from Wu-Tang Clan?
So yeah, kind of. I wanted to call.
I can guess.
I'll give you the
which.
full story later, but I wanted to play the Rizzo RZO Wu-Tang.
Yep.
I was just kind of with the whole Melvin Wu-Tang Clan.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to get caught up in some bullshit.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Rizzo the Rat from the Muppets, which I like.
A really good buddy of mine, we can talk about it later too, is he's the lead roaster at Portola.
Okay.
Or he was the lead roaster at Portola. And he actually just left. So this is one of the last beers I wanted to brew with him before he took off.
Got it.
His last name is Rizzo, so I wanted to
Nice.
give him a nod.
Well, tell us about Riip to be Square.
Riip to be Square. So this is American Pale Ale, 5.6%.
I was going to say.
Yep. No.
Yeah, we all held our breath there for a second. What did he just say?
5.6%. This is raw two-row, white wheat, and a little bit of Simpson's low-color Maris Otter.
Okay.
It's probably about 15% Simpson's low-color Maris Otter, which I kind of interchange a lot of Simpson's low-color MO and crisp,
Golden
extra pale Maris Otter in my hazies, and I wanted to incorporate a bit of it into this beer.
So the idea
of
this low color is that you get the body and flavor of a Maris Otter, but not the color.
Exactly.
Obviously. Okay. It's a light color beer too. I've always loved Maris Otter.
Absolutely.
Since I started the Brewing Network, someone gave me like a pale ale. I think maybe it was even like an EJ Fair pale ale, believe it or not.
Yeah,
and I asked all about it, and Maris Otter was like the main deal. And then the same with like Dave McLean's beers.
Yeah, he used a lot of that.
Yeah, and he got one year I was at GABF. He got this like heritage version of Maris Otter that he was working with somebody on.
Yeah,
Dave was that way.
But the beer was amazing. Wow. I've just always been a fan of that malt. So
I 100% agree.
Yeah.
The hops on this are Mosaic and Idaho 7.
An Idaho 7. Okay.
Those are the hot new hops, man.
Yeah, that's the
There's
one.
like 5.
That's the
right?
thing.
There's like 5 that basically a lot of beers have. The Idaho
Mosaic
7,
for sure. Yeah.
And Mosaic's been hot for a long time.
Yeah, it has it good.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of the other ones? We hear about them a lot.
So yeah,
we were talking earlier about Strata.
Strata,
I'm loving on a lot.
Last week,
and of course your Simcoe and your Citra.
Yeah,
right. And I was talking to my co-host Nick recently that the hop farms are even pulling out Centennial to put in some of these newer hops, and I just thought that's kind of mind-blowing. Like Centennial's it's your workhorse, it's your standard. How could we possibly need less of that?
I love that hop.
Centennial.
Yeah, I mean, I'm old school, though. I mean, I grew up in the time when that was a real popular, very multi-use hop.
Yeah.
And actually, it's funny because Jaron Shepard, who's our brewer at the pub, he, is a younger guy, but it's Centennial's his favorite hop, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good. It can either be
you're
dank
too young
or it can
for
be
that.
pretty bright. Yeah.
What do you guys use Centennial in, Sully?
We use it in a lot. We have a lot of Centennial.
Okay.
In fact, if anybody's pulling anything out of the ground and needs some.
Yeah.
I mean, it was like, we got caught up in the wave of we had huge growth, and then everything, a couple years ago took a little bit of went soft a little bit, and so we have a little bit of Centennial right now. I like that hop because you can use it in everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you don't have to just use it; you can use it with like 4 or 5 other hops, which is what we do.
It's just a magical hop.
It is a magical hop.
What is the newest or most unique hop you're using currently, Sully?
Idaho 7, we've used that. We've used Mandarina Bavaria and Bavarian. Did I get that right? Sorry, it's the appendix. And what else are we using right now? Citra, Mosaic. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're right there. We're playing with the big boys.
Do you have to contract out your hops?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we're contracted out. When I started with Riip about a year and 3 months ago, kind of inherited a lot of those contracts and have since gone back and made significant changes to our contracts and had to play them out for the last year or so.
Yeah.
So wait, what'd you do? You had to reevaluate them and kind of
Yeah, big time. I mean, it's kind of a bummer. I'm stuck.
Listen, I'm probably
15,
with you.
I've got 1,500 pounds of Warrior for the next per year for the next 4 years.
Okay.
So if anybody needs Warrior for bittering,
you got Warrior.
Contact Ian at ripbeer.com and we'll cut you a good deal on it.
And if anybody needs Centennial or Cascade, Sean at 21st-amendment.com.
Right.
I love it. It's just turned into a fire sale here.
Yeah. Well,
but I mean, we talked, cool hops. Like Cashmere is the one that I started using. I'm using a lot right now.
Okay.
And I love the flavor of Cashmere. It works really well with other hops. It pairs well. Brings out a lot of bright, fruity characters.
Okay. So we're about to publish a Hop and Brew School episode about contracting, and I just learned that, I always thought, well, kind of what you guys are saying now, you sign this contract for I don't know how many years out, and I always thought, well, you're stuck with that, and how do you even predict what you need? But I learned that you can actually adjust your contract. You can go back. It's maybe there's a minimum, but
as long as you're not kind of in the year.
Right.
Yeah.
So in other words, if this new hop kind of comes out in either late in your contract, you can go back and go, hey, I want that too.
Yeah, Strata's a good example. I mean, I was at I had just started with Riip and went to CBC, and remember rubbing Strata and going, holy shit, this hop is amazing.
Okay.
How do I get it? Oh, it's not available. And I was like,
why
okay,
is it here?
Well, when will it be available? Oh, it's still we're still working on it. And I said, okay, cool. Well, how? They go, just call later. When should I call? I'm not really sure.
Because technically right now is later in the conversation.
Yeah, I'm going to go walk around the convention hall and then I'll be back.
Right. I did with them what I do with telemarketers or the phone companies that call me.
Yeah.
When I make a contract with them, I put it in my phone for 2 years later so I can call them back and go, hey, don't raise my fucking rate.
Yeah.
Either I'm going to jump or I need something else. So every single month I just call Indie Hops and say, hey, can I get Strata now?
Right.
And eventually I said, yeah.
Oh, you're like, wait, really?
Give him
Are
the
you serious?
goddamn hop.
Yeah, I get it now. Okay, cool. Send it.
I imagine the guy on the phone. He calls. I want Strata, and the guy just leans back in his office chair at a warehouse full of Strata. Goes, I think we can do it.
Yeah. I actually picture them going, looking at the phone and going, hey, it's Ian again. Should we
100%.
Should we fuck with him and say yes this time? And
100%.
Yeah.
It's funny. So I contracted 220 pounds, and I started pulling it. And I called up one day, and Strata had already gone berserk bonkers.
Okay.
And everybody was pulling it, and I know they sold some off to a few other hop sellers. And I called up and talked to Matt, the owner, one day, and I was Matt or Jim, and I said, hey, I need 44 pounds of Strata. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, we don't have that hop anymore. We're all sold out. We didn't expect it to go as fast as it went. And I'm like, the fuck are you talking about? I have a contract. We have your Strata.
Oh, you're the guy. Oh, got it. All right.
Yeah. Our warehouse is full of your Strata.
Yeah.
Describe that hop to me. What do you get out of it?
What I love about the hop is it's so versatile. Even in a single hop beer, it tastes to me like a hop blend.
Okay.
So you get the danky hop characteristics, the kind of cellar characteristics you get with Columbus, CTZ, that onion garlic dankiness.
Yeah.
But it's crazy fruit forward.
Okay.
So you get a lot of the more modern tropical hop characteristics at the same time.
Okay. And what about the Idaho 7 that's in this beer? How would you describe that hop?
Idaho 7 for me, it depends on. I've had a couple different lots of Idaho 7, but it is very fruit forward. It plays well with the Mosaic in this because the Mosaic has that kind of. I guess danky is another that's a term I throw out a lot.
I like that. It has that. I also think it's a little earthy, which
Yeah,
I like.
100%.
I like that about Mosaic.
Pretty bright, too.
Yeah.
And it's shelf stable, too, which is great. It's like a lot of people use that. So
I didn't even think that was a thing, like per hop, about being shelf stable.
yeah, it holds on to its aroma really
I
well.
see.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can see how that plays well with the Strata, or the Idaho 7 in this, rather. It's good beer. I'm on my second pale ale, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
There you go.
Yeah, started the show with it. Remember I told you last week, on last week's show,
That's right.
if I'm already having your beer by the time you come in the program, I genuinely like your beer.
I almost asked you.
Yeah. I went out at the break and I got a second one.
Now everybody's watching it.
It's a very nice beer. Yeah. It's going to be awful the one time we do have a guest come in and he's maybe he's a listener.
He's like, what are you drinking? You go, Bliney.
Super fan.
Right.
Yeah.
He'll be devastated.
Yeah.
He only had one.
I'll be like, I'm just not drinking today. My appendix hurts.
Yeah.
There you go.
Justin, why aren't you having my
Instant
beer?
excuse.
Oh, well, I was really excited. There's this Imperial Stout I wanted to have instead.
Yeah.
You're a big Imperial Stout.
Exactly.
fan.
Drinking the opposite of what I would ever
warm.
drink. But no, your beer is very good.
Thank you very much.
Well, let me get us to a break so that we can go put some other nice beer in our glass and talk about that, shall we?
Yeah.
Do it.
All right. Hang in there, folks. You're listening to The Session.
Hi, this is Wayne Wumbles from Cigar City Brewing, and you're listening to The Session on the Brewing Network.
Wayne Wombles.
I like Wayne.
I love that guy.
Doesn't fall down.
I love him. I just saw him at the Firestone Invitational. He's a nice guy.
I don't know what you're talking about. I never get invited to that.
I have to get him back on the show. Wayne did the show with us years ago. I'm going to be honest. I didn't like him. I didn't get him. I didn't understand him. Yeah. Now I understand him.
I love him.
And I love him. But yeah, and he was a good interview, by the way. It wasn't that. I don't know. I was like, I don't
Wayne
know about this guy, but he's
funny.
a great guy.
He has an intensity about him.
Yes.
And he always reminds me, every time I see him, about this one day night we had at Faction with Roger. Where Roger and I were just like slagging each other back and forth.
Yeah.
And he said he's never laughed so hard in his life. I mean, I think I made that guy's life.
Right.
I love you,
Wayne. Wayne's a good guy, and I'm going to get him back on the show. He's got a lot to talk about.
He's out in North Carolina now, in Asheville.
Oh, I didn't know that. Is he? So, like, permanently?
No, I made that up. Yeah, of course he is. Yeah, he's out there.
Yeah,
He's not.
that just opened today, right?
Yeah, the Canarchy place.
Got it.
Is that right?
He's not.
Canlaboration or whatever.
It's got can in it.
Yeah,
Canabulation.
It's like it's a collaboration
That's
brewery.
a terrible name.
In I just read about it this morning on Full
Yeah,
Pint.
it's like,
okay.
Did they call it Canarchy?
I know it's affiliated.
There's 3 computers in here. I'm sure we can.
I know.
Figure it
None of us know how to use it. All I did was look up the Warriors score, by the way. The Warriors
I just
are
look
up.
up cat memes. You can do other shit on this thing?
Yeah.
Wow, I was way undersold. Wow.
We'll have to get the lowdown from Wayne when he comes on the show. We'll do that. So I stopped you at with your background after the brew on premise, but you used to work for Julian as well at.
I did, yeah.
At what the hell's it called? Beechwood.
I did, yeah.
At the Beechwood.
At the Beechwood.
At the Beechwood.
How long were you there?
7 years and approximately 7 years in total.
What was that like?
Yeah, you must have learned a couple of things there.
Yeah, just a few. Absolutely.
Mostly just engineering shit.
Right.
That'd be great if every conversation Julian and Ian had was just about engineering, not about beer at all.
I couldn't keep
Right. You probably learned how to play like a mean air guitar from Julian.
Air guitar, yes.
Yeah.
I actually came into the Hop Grenade tonight, and the soundtrack you guys had going on was very Julian-esque.
Right. Yeah, we do a little metal sometimes. But how was it? That must have been a great learning experience.
Hell yeah, it was. Yeah, no, it was time of my life.
Okay.
I started with Beechwood when they opened up the Long Beach location.
Yep. Okay.
I actually interviewed for a brewer position, I think, but there definitely wasn't one at that point in time. And then started bartending, worked my way into the brewery about a year and a half, 2 years later.
Okay.
I was Julian's first assistant, so I have the pleasure of saying that.
Nice.
And it was him and I for a long time, and it was killer.
Can you think of any like specific takeaways, that you really maybe learned under Julian that you didn't know already?
One thing that Julian taught me really well was to slow down and think about what the fuck I was doing.
Okay.
I'm a pretty big guy, and I tend to be a bit of a brute. You know, when it's time to get something done, I can get it done pretty quick.
I see.
And Julian would say, God, fucking slow down, man. Like,
okay.
Figure it out. There's better ways to do what you're doing, whether it's brewing or moving kegs.
Yeah.
You're a hammer looking for a nail.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, Julian he strikes me as a very deliberate person.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, very, very thought out, you know, kind of plans everything. So I could see that.
That's that engineering, man. Absolutely. Engineers make the best home brewers, and I think commercial brewers.
Yeah.
No offense, Sully.
I'm an engineer.
I'm engineering my relationship
I'm a trained
with you right
engineer.
now. Shoot you.
I read your bio, Sully, today.
What?
Speaking of your background, and photographer?
Slow down a second.
What shit is that?
I like the fact you actually were reading my bio. What was it, like at midnight last night?
Yeah, I was lonely.
Well, it's in the bathroom stall. It's right there.
Well, I was prepping for your eulogy. I hadn't heard from you since the appendix.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah. So
yeah, I was a photographer.
Like a real one?
Yes, like a real one.
Before or after?
Did you get paid to do it?
I got paid to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I shot for a local weekly. I did a lot of punk rock club photography, political stuff. I covered the Rodney King riots, actually. I covered the 1992 presidential primary in New Hampshire.
Wow.
And I was really into it.
You've had a whole other life that I didn't know about.
Yeah,
Did you do any boudoir?
Yeah, fair question.
You want to talk about that later?
Yeah, for sure.
I could probably take out my old Nikon FM.
The next Brewers calendar.
Put a flash in my hot shoe.
All I remember is that you were like a paralegal or something.
I had a bunch of different careers in my 20s.
Somebody asked me recently I needed legal advice. I think it was Kate the Great. She's like, why don't you call Sully? He was a lawyer. I was like, he wasn't a fucking lawyer. He was
People
like
ask me that all the time. I was not a lawyer.
You were what? You were like clerk.
I was like a legal assistant. And it came because I was working at CNN as a producer in their LA bureau.
That's another career. Okay. Wow.
Making up horrific lies.
And I was and I wasn't getting paid well, and my boss was a cocaine addict.
Okay.
And this is true.
Hell yeah.
And then I called my friend Dan Crilly, who was my next door neighbor in the dorms at UCLA. And I said, hey, Dan, what's up? And he said, I'm 36 floors up in the air in downtown Los Angeles working for this New York law firm that has an office in L.A. eating steak and lobster right now.
Wow.
And you hear that like a 25-year-old kid?
Yeah.
You're like, I want to eat steak and lobster. I didn't have to have absolutely no background in it. I had no education.
I'm steak lobster.
Yeah. Meanwhile, he's literally just eating dry ramen and just crunching on a...
It's fine if you dip it in cold Folgers.
Yeah.
That's a nuance. So it was like, that was it. So I thought, But
you hated it, right? Didn't you hate being a paralegal?
Actually, well, I mean, after a while I did. I mean, I was like, I did it. It was great. I made great money, for, something in their mid-20s. I traveled all over the world with it.
Okay.
And then I was going to go to law school or business school, and I said, fuck that.
Yeah.
Apologies to all the lawyers out there. And decided that I wanted to get into brewing, and the rest is history.
Right. Still a good move so far.
Yeah, it might be working out. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let's check next week.
Did you have a previous life before brewing and bartending, Ian?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
truck driver or
out of high school, I moved to Northern California. I lived up outside of Santa Rosa in a small town called Guerneville.
Oh, I know.
Very familiar with Guerneville.
Guerneville's awesome.
It's a pretty green town.
Yeah.
So I did construction and greenery up there.
Got greenery. It's legal now to do that,
I was, at that point in time it wasn't.
I see.
Okay, I was killing
there
people
for about
over weed,
5 years, and then moved back down to Southern California. Got the job at Brewbakers, and the rest is history.
Okay,
Damn.
got it.
A lot of construction, though.
Do you think, don't let your bosses listen to this part, do you think you'll ever leave and open your own brewery? Is that a thing you think about, like having my own, or do you like just, you don't have the stress of that?
Oh, no.
I'm never leaving Riip.
He told me that at the break.
I love Riip.
When we were off the air, he told me that at the break.
I know that's an awkward question for a brewer.
It is. It is. But I honestly, Brian and Ryan know, I've been very forward and straightforward and honest with them. Like, yeah, of course it is.
Sure.
The reason I left Beechwood and went back to Riip, was to start brewing beer again in my hometown.
Okay.
Close to my family. I got 2 little ones that I want to be near. Even though I probably spend less time with them now now than I did before.
It's fine. They're not listening.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Yeah, in like 30 years, they'll cry.
Yeah, exactly.
And your kids are in therapy.
Hey, listen, it's probably not all it's cracked up to be. It's a pain in the ass to be in a...
A father or being a brewer?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know about the dad part, but I assume. JP, it sucks, right?
It sucks.
Yeah.
It does not.
It sucks.
It's amazing, and then it sucks sometimes.
No, it sucks.
Bev and I are just like, it's great.
Yeah.
We drank the Kool-Aid.
You've got like 16 years of
He
practice
was
whitewashing to do.
He was a good kid. Anyway.
I had
defending this.
I had Hurl all over me at Temple the other night.
Coronado?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about how awful this is, because for the first time in my life, ever, I had a passing thought over the weekend that I might like to have a child.
Oh, my God.
Never had that into my head.
Wow.
It's never entered
Bringing
my
Abby
head.
over.
I don't think you should have a kid.
I don't think so either. And like I said, it was a passing thought. It's only significant because it's never happened before.
Right.
It's always been
you're
like...
getting older. That's just kind of how...
Yeah,
That's what I
the way she
figure.
goes,
It's just the
You've been having some
chemicals
changes
talking.
here. You've been like, quit smoking. You're going to the gym.
You're washing.
You got great cologne on right now.
You're bettering yourself.
But I hate it. Life is fucking awful.
Life
right
sucks,
now.
dude.
Smoking
It requires
is
so much more.
great. Working out sucks.
You know what? You know what the best feeling in the world is? Driving out into the middle of the desert and just pressing the barrel of a gun right against your temple, and just taking a deep breath and seeing what happens.
Seeing what happens.
Just go from there. I'll let you right to the end of that
I can't tell
story.
if you're speaking for me or you right now.
Yes.
I really don't know.
Out loud voice.
Just saying. It's the greatest feeling in the world, man.
No, all of these changes kind of blow, though. It's stupid.
You'll be fine. Just
I'm
go
bored
with
to
it.
death. It's so fucking boring being healthy.
Being alive.
Right.
Life is boring.
Imagine if I have to quit drinking. That's like the one thing I'm like,
Ooh,
listen.
Oh, I can't do that.
Every time I go to the doctor, I'm like, please don't tell me I have to quit drinking.
Right.
We have a test here.
Yeah.
So I just
Your
don't
enzyme.
go. I had this idea.
Which is smart. I think that's a good thing.
Wow, that's-
Avoid it just completely.
Yeah.
If you don't know, Schrodinger's cat, right?
Right.
Is cat dead? I don't know.
Yeah. I'm sorry I'm bogarting your interview, but...
You're all good.
So I did have this idea when I started working out, and it revealed to me what a mess I am, sort of. But I was like, okay, I'll make all of these changes. I will do everything to get better. But I refuse to cut down on drinking. It's like the one thing I have left, right? So I thought
with it.
I thought what I should do is hire a personal trainer and tell them there are 2 rules to this workout. To this agenda.
It'll already go well.
There
I
are
can
2
tell.
rules. One, I have to do everything you tell me to do.
Yeah.
And 2, you're not allowed to tell me anything about my drinking. So you can change my eating my diet habits, you can everything.
Yeah.
And then I thought I should video this whole fucking thing so that everyone has to watch me wake up the next morning because I had 12 beers the night before, and the trainer said, well, then you're up at 6 a.m. to run 10 miles. That's like, because I have to
would
do everything.
pay to see that.
And I thought it would be highly entertaining.
Yeah.
But I just don't think I could do it.
Well, I don't think there would be a personal trainer that would take that on.
I disagree. I think they would love it, and I
really do.
I think they think it'd be hilarious. And
They're all
interesting.
sadists.
Because it's certainly possible. Like if I just have to burn more calories than I take in, essentially.
the goal.
But I just thought seeing me a hungover mess. But then what I thought was like,
I've seen it.
the
It's
fuck
not that
is wrong
funny.
with me? Like, why don't I just stop drinking for a couple weeks and it would be fine? But I'm like, no, absolutely
Or at
not.
least you just back off. You don't have to stop drinking.
Right.
You don't have to have 12 beers either.
Plus, everything I get into, I try to figure out how to put it on the fucking air. And I just thought it'd be a great video, though.
I think that would be good.
It'd be entertaining.
Good
right?
content.
Yeah. It's not going to happen, though.
Personal trainers are expensive.
Well, seriously,
and then you have to do all the work to like video it and edit it and put it up. And it's not going to happen.
I'm just so...
And you'd be
I'm
hungover
too
doing
lazy.
that, and you would probably not be good.
And this is what I ended up thinking, is that because I tend to stick things out if I commit to them, I'd end up not drinking very much because I'd be miserable waking up at 6 a.m. hungover again. I'd ended up the natural result would be that I would cut down my drinking, and then who wants to watch that? That's boring,
right?
You know,
you'd be all happy, you'd be like painting.
Well, I don't
I'll be off my meds.
Yeah, my 600-pound life. People,
Guys, I gotta
watch
get out of here. I gotta go to my workout at 9 o'clock.
Anyway. Yeah.
Boring.
What's your workout routine? You're a fit guy.
Throw cakes.
A 2-year-old and a 5-year-old and a full-time job.
I got you. All right, let's talk
my wife
about.
kills me because I pay for a gym membership that I don't fucking use.
So you don't go, yeah. No, I refuse to pay for a gym membership because I will do that.
Yeah.
And then I'll hate myself more. So tell us about the Dan K. This is the next beer that's in our
Dan K is probably one of the beers that's as close to a flagship beer as we have. It's a beer that there was like 4 beers that I inherited when I started at Riip. Jetty Water Blonde Ale, Dan K, Super Cali. Well, Super Cali won a GABF Silver in 2016.
Nice. In the IPA category. That's tough to do.
Wait, what year was that?
2016.
Did you get knocked out, Sally?
No, I actually judged that beer and gave you that medal.
Oh, it's awesome. Well, it wasn't me, but...
really?
Well, whatever. Just
that's Mr. Moy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was a good beer.
Okay.
I remember that discussion, too. But I can't talk about it.
At the table?
Yeah.
You're not allowed to talk about it even after the fact?
No, I can't. No.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Anyway.
Did you can I ask you this?
Yeah.
Did you have to argue to get that beer to move forward?
No, I mean, it's interesting because all the beers on the table in the final round, now I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
They're all world-class beers. I mean, because you had
doubt.
there 400 entries that year, I think. And it was just like, they're all world-class beers.
Yeah.
So you're really, like, finding, like, it's exciting out there.
Something happened.
Sounds like the Warriors are up.
And so you're fine-tuning things. It's like every one of those beers is awesome.
And so you really have to kind of
you're
nitpick.
leaning into it. You know, you got to break it down.
Do you still judge every year?
Yeah, although this year I'm taking a pass on it just because I've been judging for like 12 years. So I'm just like...
Plus you're dying.
I'm dying. I have an appointment with the hospital that week.
Yeah. Are you not going to go to GABF?
No, I'll probably go.
Okay.
I just wanted to take a year off. I mean, next year is the World Beer Cup and also GABF, so that's a hard year because I probably will judge the World Beer Cup. I'm not assuming I will because you're always like excited when you get the invite because you assume like you did something wrong the previous year and you're like, fuck, I'm not going to come back.
Yeah.
So, and then it's also a GABF, so it'll be 2 judging.
Sure, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big commitment.
That's a lot. Wait, okay, so the medal you won for is not this beer, though?
No, it's not this beer, sorry.
Yeah, okay.
That was Super Cali.
Okay.
And then there was another beer called Raider Bob, which is actually named after Ryan Rasmussen's father.
Oh,
okay.
So I promise, we'll keep those beers on. We've made some changes to all the beers in the last year or so. But they're still basically the same beers.
Who's Ryan Rasmussen?
He's one of the founders.
Oh, okay. All right.
So this is a West Coast IPA.
West Coast IPA. Yep.
I like this better than your pale ale.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
This is 7%. Yeah. I mean, the grist on this is literally 2-row.
That's it?
It's 100% 2-row.
Oh, wow.
I love you.
And it's Citra Simcoe.
So it's just simple.
It's very good, fruity also.
Why is it so difficult for people to make good beer? Like, why is there so many bad beers out there when it's that simple?
People don't slow down.
I see.
Throwback, right?
Did you do any water treatment with this?
Yeah, there's definitely water treatment in all my beers.
That's good.
A lot of takeaways from Beechwood, of course, and our calcium our sulfate to chloride ratios. We're higher. We're probably around 100 to 110 sulfates to about 80 chlorides.
Okay.
And 80 chlorides, that's just our base water there.
I see. Okay. Yeah, that's a good beer. Yeah. And it's just really simple.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very straightforward and easy.
It's clear, first of all.
Yeah.
It is.
JP. And it's and it's got a real nice tartness to it.
Yeah.
It's really remarkable.
That's another thing that I've been playing around a lot with lately is actually pH in my West Coast.
Okay.
Kind of driving that down a little further and further.
And how do you do that?
Lactic or phosphoric. We're primarily lactic in the brewery.
Okay. Does that happen in the mash tun?
Mash tun and during sparge.
Okay.
I have a doser in sparge, so I can actually continually dose all the way through sparge.
Got it.
If you need to, you can add some in the kettle as well.
Okay. Yeah, it's just so simple. Do you do like a traditional bittering addition in this, or is everything is late?
This does. The original recipe that I took over was all late addition.
Okay.
It was a pretty heavy late addition.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, our beers have changed, they're evolved, and put my spin on it. We do have a bittering addition here now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of first word addition, bittering. There's usually a middle addition on most of my West Coast IPAs.
Okay.
Somewhere in like the 30 to 15 range. The SS Brewtech system's killer. One thing that is a downfall of it is the firebox down below is so well insulated with a giant stone that I will continue at boil at 213, 214, 215, all the way through Whirlpool.
Interesting.
Wow.
Okay.
Is that a problem sometimes?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a big. Yeah.
How do you counter
that? So a couple different
grab
things.
the stone and take it out. Right?
So a couple different things. I've been in, like I said, I've been in conversation with SS Brewtech about installing some sort of bypass for the fan to allow the fan to continue running even once the burner is off.
I see.
There's been no actual upgrade for that yet. SS Brewtech, we've talked about this. Let's do it.
Yeah, you're listening.
Yeah,
I'm talking about you right now.
One thing that we've started doing is brewing. We have a 10-barrel system. We brew 11 or 12 barrel batches. So we started concentrating those batches down to 9-10 barrels, and then watering back pre-Whirlpool in order to drop our temp. So, like,
I see.
Okay.
One barrel of water will get us about 11 to 12 points.
Got it.
Drop 2 barrels will get us down to like the 190 range.
It's a smart solution.
Yeah.
So it works out for us. That's why I talked about adding lactic in the kettle.
Yeah, okay.
So because our water in Huntington Beach is it's almost 8 pH. So if I add 2 barrels of water, I definitely want to make sure I get some lactic in there and drop it down a little more.
And so what happens when you drop the pH in a beer like this? What's the advantage?
One thing that I've really noticed is it's really made the hops pop.
Okay. All right.
Not only the sulfates with the sharp bitter acidity or sharp bitterness, but the pH drop actually helps the hops really kind of shine.
Okay. And they do shine in this beer for sure.
It's great mouthfeel too.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you filter or fine?
Biofine all the way.
Just biofine. No filtering in your brew house.
No, we don't have a filter.
Okay. Because it is, like Sully mentioned, it's brilliantly clear. So how fast can you turn this beer around? Does it have to sit around to get that clear?
17, 18 days.
Okay.
No, 48 hours in the bright tank.
Got it.
We're biofining at about 3.5 to 4 ounces per barrel.
Okay.
So like on a 10 barrel batch, my yield is probably closer to 7, 8 barrels. We're using 30 ounces.
Okay. So you're brewing quite a bit.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah,
so
volume.
we're on a 10 barrel system, and we currently, when I inherited when I started working in the brewery, we had 6 10 barrel fermenters. We've done some work since I got there. We now have 8 10 barrel fermenters.
Okay.
So I think we can probably hit somewhere in the 1,100 to 1,200 barrels.
Wow.
For the year.
Yeah. Okay. What size? Just so for my own sake, comparison. What size is the brewery in San Francisco, Sully?
12.
That's 12. Okay. Yeah.
About the same size.
About what I pictured. Yeah. Okay.
With how much fermentation capacity?
We have 4 12s and 6 Sprites. So
okay. Yeah.
There was nowhere else Sully could go. Like that room was jam packed.
No, I mean that's what we're doing at Riip right now. If you come into Riip, there's big changes on the brew side.
Okay.
And without dropping a new glycol chiller in, we're maxed out.
Really?
And we're maxed out on space kind of too.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's nice because it's efficient. You don't have to move very far. It's all right there.
Right, 100%. Yeah.
When's the last time you brewed, Sully?
It's been about a well. How do you define that? Probably 5 months.
Years of
When's the last time you brewed in San Francisco on that system?
Oh, I thought you were asking.
No, I was asking the other question too.
It's been a while. I mean, I do collaborations, so I'll come in and kind of start it off, and then it'll go somewhere else. So
sure,
somebody else to clean the mash tonight. Usually the guest brewer.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
I remember being in that brewery the day you got. I hesitate to call it a canning line. Come in. You're like tabletop can
That's what started the whole thing.
And I remember thinking, I don't know what's wrong with this guy with these cans. Like, I don't think this is really a thing. And also, he's like hand filling them 4 at a time or something.
2. It was 2, Justin.
And
2
I went because you were like excited about it. I was like, oh, I'm going to go take some photos. But I remember in the back of my head, I was thinking you were kind of crazy.
Well, we were.
That's not wrong. I mean, you weren't wrong about that. Yeah.
Nobody was. There were 10 breweries in the country canning their beer. Craft
right.
breweries.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, I was obviously wrong because now you go. I was talking to Vinny about this. He was saying, now I stand out on the shelf. I go into a liquor store and every door is full of cans, and then there's the Pliny bottle,
which already are unlike other beer bottles,
right?
Yeah.
And so whereas like Sully not only liked the format. back then, you're like, I'm also going to stand out on the shelf.
Yeah. Well, we did a lot of talking because nobody was doing it, so you talk more about the can and the beer inside. But funny thing about Vinny, because he always tells me the story, that he was the one that told me to put beer in cans. He brought back a can of Rodenbach, and said, you got to put your beer in can because check this out.
Right.
And so,
and that sold you.
And
on
I have to go, yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, Vinny.
And now he's a minority shareholder.
Yeah. Sully's just hypnotized.
Yeah.
Who isn't?
Yeah. You guys, is you just keg beer? Do you have packaged beer?
We just keg beer. So, again, back to when I started, the numbers at that point in time were pretty low, and they were canning batches through a couple different local mobile canning guys.
Mm-hmm. That's a racket.
Sorry, I didn't really like them very much.
Really?
And so I very blatantly said, we're going to stop canning until we can figure out how we can make good beer that we can put in cans.
Okay.
And lucky for me, we sell like 95% of our beer over the tap room.
Got it.
I'll distro once a week or once every other week. A handful of kegs.
I see. And of course, growlers are leaving it. So if people want to take beer home,
growlers. I mean, growlers are king, and they sell like mad.
How much did you spend on your growler machine? Do you know? I've heard that those things can be ridiculously expensive.
It's the Oscar Blues one. What's it called? I forget what it's called right now.
Okay.
We have two of them. Well, we have one that's in use, and we have one that's a backup.
I see.
In case we.
Well, Crowler is king if you got a backup Crowler machine. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think Beardy was telling me once because they were going to buy one for that brewery he was working at. That they can, there's an affordable one, but there's some that are just insane.
Yeah.
I want to say they were $10,000, but I made that up.
I don't know. The guys will kill me for it's a few grand. I don't know. It's $3-4 grand.
Sure.
And there's different options out there now too.
Yeah.
We have a few customers. One in particular who will come in and he'll rebuild it once every 6 months.
Wow.
That's cool. To make sure that on top of all of our maintenance we're doing that it's working.
You got to stay on top of that too.
Yeah.
And so, with 95% of the beer going out over the tap room, do you think that these are locals and regulars, or are you a big tourist destination?
I would say we're a big tourist destination. One thing that I point out time and time again is that we are so far from the freeway. Being in Huntington Beach, I don't know if how familiar you are with it.
Yeah,
we're at the very end of Warner.
Yeah,
we're where we hit the beach. So I think, and I haven't proven this, we're the furthest brewery away from a freeway in Orange County area.
Okay.
So for our customers to travel across the 405 or from Tustin, Anaheim, Yorba Linda area, it's a good half an hour to an hour.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is I call us a destination brewery, even in Orange County.
Got it.
And that's the way I feel we should deal with our beer. We should deal with our distribution.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I've been trying to get a lot more beer out to the Central Coast and to Northern California, even if it is small onesie-twosies here and there.
Yeah.
Because if people are going to travel from Orange County on the weekends to go to the beach and to stop and see us,
sure,
why wouldn't they travel from Oakland, San Francisco, San Luis Obispo?
And do the same,
a good calling card.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there other Huntington Beach breweries?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there's Four Sons has been around for a while.
Okay.
Beechwood now has a production brewery in Huntington Beach as well.
Oh, yeah.
They took over the old Beach City Brewing Company.
Okay.
There's a new one opening up, and I apologize because I don't remember the name of it.
That's all right.
Yeah.
They'll forgive you, I'm sure.
We'll see.
I mean, I just can... So I grew up in L.A. for a little while, and there just wasn't beer, It was not,
sure.
It's anywhere. And now L.A. itself is kind of booming with beer, right? Like they were slow to the craft game. I feel like
absolutely.
Like the Bay Area, we were early, right? And L.A. I think just kind of took a little while.
That's why I left L.A.
I mean, in the early 2000s when I was working at Brewbakers, and I was just really kind of fostering my love for craft beer, my passion for beer.
Yeah,
I mean, we would drive down to San Diego every weekend.
Right.
And I remember my wife and that's at one point I got rid of probably 100 growlers.
Okay,
no joke, that took up a giant corner of my garage because every time we'd go out of town to go get beer, that would last us for another week.
Yeah.
It was San Diego. It was all San Diego.
Sure. Yeah. Because that's where it was. Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I need an excuse to go see Huntington Beach. It's been years.
Absolutely.
So I got to come check it out.
Please come down. Well, so CCBA is going to be in Long Beach in September, October.
Oh, that's right.
And we are just south of that. I mean, Beechwood is definitely going to be the spot for CCBA.
Yeah, the California Craft Brewers Association Conference.
That's the summit. Yeah.
The summit. That's right. Okay.
So it's going to be an awesome beer festival in downtown Long Beach.
I was going to say, yeah, because usually it's in Sacramento.
Right.
So where are they doing the festival? Like outside in downtown Long Beach?
Yeah, it's down at the convention center, which is
got it.
Plug for Beechwood. It's literally blocks away.
Okay, nice.
I'm going. I just actually committed to it today.
Is that right?
Cool.
Yeah,
Nice.
Somebody asked me about it.
Hey, I'll go to that.
If
we're going, I'm totally down.
I'm in.
We went to the first couple or something. I haven't been in a couple years.
Yeah. I remember the first one.
We went to the inaugural one for sure.
Where was that at? Was that Sacramento?
It was Sacramento, and it was
like today.
Yeah, exactly.
It was just after Tony McGee had sold his brewery
No, you had it right the
to
first time.
Heineken,
Yeah.
and he was a keynote speaker there. And they had me go record it. You can still find it on our YouTube page, youtube.com/Brewing Network. It's one of the most popular videos, I think, mostly because people wanted to hear what the fuck he had to say about that. Because that was like before Ballast. It was before shit. That might have been before Golden Road. I forget.
I think it was actually, and it's interesting because when he tells the story, it's like you listen to it, how he goes about it, and it's like you feel like, yeah, that makes that makes sense.
Right.
Totally makes sense.
See, and
bought you bought them.
You bought their money.
I also think
I like Tony.
I really trust brewers, and so I'm that way. Almost anybody who comes into the studio, if I have a different opinion about something, but then you tell me your story, I almost always just agree. Like I don't know if that means just make me a pushover or what, but I'm always like, yeah, okay, that sounds right.
Well, what are you going to do? Tell them that their opinion is wrong?
No. But I mean, even internally, like, sure, I could keep it to myself, but I'm saying that I'm just like, yeah, I was wrong. That sounds good. Yeah.
When have you ever done that?
I'm glad you have $1 billion.
Yeah, right.
But gosh, Sully.
Well, I wish. I mean, this is my personal opinion. I wish that for once, somebody who sold their brewery for hundreds of millions or billions of dollars, would just like throw a middle finger up in the air and say, "I'm out."
Yeah,
and that would be awesome.
I would do that.
There's a lot of it's for the betterment of the industry going on, and that's kind of a bummer, man.
You kind of bring up a good point because, I mean, it's a life-changing moment. I mean, you think about it.
My God.
You've worked this business to a certain point, and then somebody wants to give you a ton of cash for it. It's almost like the American dream.
It is the American dream.
So
it is.
Not only is it absolutely the American dream, and by the way, it's not one life changing. It's actually generational changing.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
if you do it right, it is. It isn't.
Yeah. I mean, but if you get $1 billion, potentially your kids are going to be fine.
Potentially, yeah. If you do it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm blowing all that. I'm buying 12 Teslas, dude. Let's go. One for every month, and I'm crashing every single one. I don't care.
There's you can do that on the interest, JP.
Hell yeah,
you're
right.
fine.
Yeah.
You would have a difficult time spending $1 billion, I think.
don't know.
I mean, my problem with it is that I think what you just said is like, it's not so much the middle finger. It's just like, all right, come on, you did what you did. Just own it.
Well, for sure.
You sold to a big company, and you're trying to explain it away. I mean,
don't make a press release that says it's for the betterment of all you guys out there.
Yeah,
we know it's not.
Yeah. Now we can get our beer into your hands.
Constellation, Anheuser-Busch, or AB InBev doesn't actually care if my children eat tomorrow.
Right.
It doesn't affect anything that their business does.
Yeah. I think I would do that. I would just get up and say, so if someone bought the BN, right, let's just pretend it has a value. I would come back on the air.
Advertising, what?
I would absolutely come back on the air and be like, we just got bought.
Yeah.
The content's probably going to suck from here on out because I'm fucking out of here.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
And
you would totally do that, too.
Scott's going to take over.
100%.
Bev will take over.
He wouldn't even... No. And
But
he wouldn't even finish that episode. He'd be like, we're done.
We would all
Peace
just be
out.
sitting here like, what just happened?
But I think if you did that, we would all give you a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Well, and I think the difference, though, is, and why people, at least me personally, I have a lot of hate for a lot of stuff, but why I tend to like gravitate to shitting on like Ballast Point and Lagunitas is because they built their business based on how good craft beer is and the solidarity and the goodwill of the craft beer industry.
Mm-hmm.
Then they sold out to the very machine that is trying to undermine and undercut that. That I think is fucked up. I don't think you're a good person if you do that. But if you just if Riip Brewing Company, you guys are good dudes. Hey man, we just got bought, and we're kind of done because you haven't done multi-million-dollar advertising campaigns based on how good craft beer is better than macro beers, and that's what I don't like. So the BN we haven't done that. We're not like the mainstream podcasts are not what you should listen to.
Those mainstreamers.
Yeah, So we could sell out. No one would care.
So Believe it or not, I agree with you.
Hell yeah.
I think they would care. I think they would care.
Our listeners?
Yeah, I think they might a little bit.
Absolutely, but I don't give a fuck.
And that's the point.
I'm out of here. That's what I.
Well, yeah.
Listen, I love you all.
Yeah. Well, we're on a break, so as soon as we come back, we'll tell the real.
Thank you, but fuck off, because it is the American dream to make that kind of
It just gets really weird, and when. Like you guys have said, when it's just the language of those things where it's like, all right, well, okay.
Well, and here's where I I genuinely agree with JP, and I think I've said it on the air that the only thing that bothers me about it is that exact thing. Yeah. If you've spent your career telling me how important it is to be independent and why that's so unique, and that I should switch to your beer because of it, and then you flip. I just think that's a little bit immoral. That's just kind of fucked up. Yeah. So, in other words, those of you who are new brewers out there, just shut your fucking mouth.
Exactly.
Don't go talking to me about it.
Right.
Sell me great beer for your whole career, and then sell out. And all I have to say to you is congratulations on completing the American dream.
Well, and I wonder if you even need to do that anymore. I mean, I think you need to do that 5, 10, 15 years ago for sure. But now, not that it's easy to sell beer, but it's in the conscious, right?
Yeah, people don't have a reaction to it as much as before.
Well, and to that end, Ballast still has the dedicated to the craft as their thing, right?
They dumped 1,300 barrels of beer.
They dumped 1,300 barrels of barrel aged beer in one of their locations because Constellation says they don't think that they have enough staff to sell the beer. So they dumped this beer.
Constellation got rid of the. The story I heard is that Constellation got rid of a lot of the original Ballast Point sales staff.
Oh yeah,
who was selling it, and now it's Constellation staff selling the beer.
I see.
And they came back and said, "Hey, we can't sell this.
Yeah, nobody knows how to sell it.
Sour. We don't like." Just give us more sculpin.
Wow.
Yeah, that's not dedicated.
And so we run the numbers. I don't know. It's like 75 to 80,000 gallons of beer.
Wow.
Give it away. Have a party. You know what I mean? There's so much goodwill you could build back, but they just dumped it because it's easier because they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
So congrats to the billionaires at Ballast.
This stout is really good.
Thank you very much.
But I want to talk about that one second. But so I have to
letting
ask
it warm up in this hot day.
Has an offer ever been made to the 2NA?
Let's go.
Oh my God. No, not at all.
I don't believe you, and I don't have any inside knowledge on this, but I think that your company is an attractive one. And
thank you very much.
I have not talked to Sully about this, so this is Justin Crosley's opinion. I think that you have been offered and you have said no, and I think.
I love the thought balloons above your head right now, as you're staring up into space.
You didn't say no because you're against selling out. You were offered and you said no because you weren't ready. You're not done. You're not done building your brand and your business, and it wasn't the right time, and you still want to. You're in this game. You like this game.
I'm enjoying it, yeah.
And I do think you enjoy it. I've known you when you don't enjoy life, and I know you now that you do enjoy life. And I think you were offered that, but you're still enjoying the game. That's my theory.
I think you went the right way. I mean,
I love the narrative that's being written for me right now.
Brooklyn Funkworks.
Yeah,
I mean, three breweries that kick ass working together.
Yeah. Smart move.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean that was the whole point. Is that we joined up with them. Essentially, it was a sales platform. We went from 25 salespeople to 80 across the country.
Brilliant.
And they're selling 3 different brands. And so you can. I mean, the whole point is that we're selling at a level where. If you can go in and have one meeting and have 3 different brands, and we don't step on each other's shoes.
Yeah.
So because we all make different beers, different styles, and so it made total sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Notice Sully's lawyer brain kicking in, not answering that question.
I really think we're going to see more and more of this going forward.
Yeah.
There has to be. We got to work together as brewers to keep kicking ass, and I mean it can be combining Salesforce.
Yep.
I know there's plenty of brewers who are combining hop orders, malt orders. If we're gonna get dicked on the back end, we better work together to figure it out on the front end.
Hell yeah,
and that's exactly
as hell, dude.
Yeah, well, you have to. I mean, brewing is inherently an inefficient game or business. I mean, you have to buy all your kettles. I mean, in most industries, you're able to brew somewhere else. We've certainly done that for Cold Spring, Minnesota. You got to have control over it. But you also, and combining sales forces, also as far as synergies with, packaging or hops, like you said. I mean, it's a margin game at this level, and so you have a penny here or there really makes a difference.
Yeah.
I never thought that was going to be the case, but when you actually see how much you will save if you do certain things, it makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
So yeah.
You've grown up.
Yeah. Actually, I was talking today, and I said, I was talking to somebody. I said, I don't sound like a brewer right now at all.
But you do.
Yeah.
I mean, you sound like a brewer who's a professional brewer.
Yeah, I've just learned a lot.
Maybe you don't sound like a home brewer anymore.
Yeah, I've had an appendicitis, so I've checked that off.
Yeah.
And I've
you've seen your life flash before your eyes.
I got to tell you, it was kind of intense. I mean, you go to Dr. Google, and you're like wondering, like, oh, I got that.
I'll never do that, dude.
Yeah,
because you're either cancerous or pregnant.
Yeah,
those are the only two options you have when you Google up symptoms.
I just brought that up so we get off the other topic.
Right. Well, I'm going to go back to the topic briefly.
Oh, shit. Because I'm making you an official offer, so now you can't say that.
I have $80 in my.
I got Nico on the phone. Hang on.
So back before these buyouts started happening, JP and I created and produced a little television show called Brew Your Own Beer, BYOB.
That's correct.
BYOB TV.
Yes.
And it was sponsored by Coors.
Mm-hmm.
However, I guess I'm telling you the story because either I'm an idiot or I do have some standards. I refused to let them put Coors on there. Mm-hmm. So they said, oh, well, what about Pilsner Urquell? That's one of our brands. And I was like, sweet, let's do that. So like Blue Moon and Pilsner Urquell, like they got promoted on the thing. Okay, but during that time, the higher-ups at Coors realized that I had a shit ton of relationships in the beer business because anytime they wanted to go somewhere, I was like, oh, I'll just call my friend and we'll go film there. So Dick Leinenkugel calls me one day and is like, hey, I'm Dick fucking Leinenkugel, and you're doing this show, and hey, I wonder if you could introduce me to the guys at Lagunitas because we're wondering if we could join forces or something like that. And I'm going, oh,
the deal maker.
I'm like, buyout, you want a buyout. And here's where I guess I'm an idiot. I was like, I can't do that. I don't think that's appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate for me to introduce you to a craft. I was like, if it happens organically, that's fine, but I am not going to call Tony and say, hey, I need you to talk to Dick, because I felt like Tony would think I'm an asshole.
Well, yeah.
For doing that. And then the motherfucker...
Only if you took 3% of the deal.
Yeah. So I'm an idiot because then he's the first one to sell out. And I was like, I can't be that guy. I can't take my relationships, my friendships, and turn them into this because craft is against you, Dick.
Oh, that's why, huh?
And
not just because it would be weird in general.
And I got left in the dust. What would my 3% of that deal be?
Would you think you would have gotten it? Because I think you would have been so entry level. I don't think Leinenkugel would have come back to you and said, "Hey, thank you for introducing. Here's a finder's fee."
If I was a smarter human being, I would have led with that. I would have said, "Well, Dick, I will do that, and here's my contract."
He just wanted his phone number.
Just an introduction.
No,
you would have seemed like more of a dick.
He wanted me to address the situation, say, "Hey, I think Leinenkugel could help you." Blah, blah, blah.
That?
Yes,
yes.
Really wanted to massage the deal.
Well, see, there you go.
You could have just sent him his email address.
I refuse to even do that because I bought into the whole thing about big beer being the enemy.
Tony at Lagunitas.com.
Right, it's so easy. Right? You're like, what did he need me for? I don't know, but he called me. And,
well, that's cool, man.
But I'm an idiot. I should have. Listen,
goddamn,
if
bro.
you're listening right now, Big Beer, everybody's phone number is for sale.
Oh, for sure.
This
little points on the back end.
This black book called my iPhone. I got it all in there.
That's right, baby.
Everybody's a friend of the Brewing Network.
That's right.
Jesus, I should have sold out.
Should have. Well, I think we still can. Do you think there's still time for us to sell out?
Sully's phone number is 415
$976.
If Dick calls me tomorrow, anybody's phone number. I don't even care. I'll call him myself.
Yeah.
I think you could have just given him the email address.
They didn't want that. They wanted me to
facilitate a meeting between the two.
And I felt uncomfortable. I thought they were the enemy.
I would feel uncomfortable with that too.
Yeah, that's not okay.
But
I'm not going to say, "Hey, hang on a second. Let me make a call for you."
But then he's the first one to sell out.
Let me put on the conference call. Yeah. He was obviously interested in doing something.
Yes.
And so he was looking for, see what kind of offers were out there.
Yeah.
He was playing the field.
Anyway.
Man, you know what I remember most from those days, from the filming days? Is
working?
Well, that too. But going to, we were having our, one of our initial meetings with, the higher-ups.
Yeah.
We went to the wrong restaurant.
Yeah,
Do you remember that? Yeah. Because they had 2 restaurants. I forget. It was like one in San Francisco and then one somewhere else. And we went to the wrong one, and they're like, hey, are you guys coming? And we're like, we've been here for 10 minutes.
Hey, right.
Where are you guys?
I do remember that. How have we succeeded at anything at all, ever, in history?
We're at the Starbucks across the street.
Yeah.
We were in the wrong city.
Dude, and it was like an hour difference or whatever. But they didn't specify.
That's good.
It was like Spangles or I don't know where the fuck
But
it
them
was.
fuckers waited for us because we're a big deal.
That was good. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, it's fine. We'll be waiting for you over here at the bar.
Man, speaking of old content, in high school I did this ROP. It's like Regional Occupational program where as a senior you go and you do just different stuff you're interested in. And I worked at the local TV station producing content with like 30 other
local
seniors.
TV station.
Yeah. Local Channel 30. And my friend emailed me. Someone digitized all of our stupid projects. There's like 12 shows.
I want to see.
Dude, it's bad. Like, first of all, 17-year-old JP with this giant
full head of hair,
super awkward and gangly, but like we're doing skits and stuff.
Yeah,
and, like,
I gotta see
bad,
that,
dude. It's so bad.
What's changed is the hair.
The change, right? And I don't have access to do skits anymore, so now I just say them, and people go, "I don't. What is he? Is he dying? What's happening?"
Please email me these things. I
thought about maybe like importing, like cleaning it up because it's like digitized from old VHS tapes, and trying to clean the audio up.
Make a JP sizzle reel.
I was actually thinking about it because I'm that like egotistical, where it would make me feel good to hate myself. But I was watching some of this on the computer, and I'm texting my friend who was in the class with me. I'm like, dude, I'm sweating watching myself like.
I would never.
Oh my god, it was so awkward.
I don't watch the old BYOB shows. Anything I can't.
No, I have them all. I've never seen them. I'm not gonna sit through.
Is
and
that
watch
the show where you? It was like an Iron show or something.
It's like Survivor for brewers. You can still find it if you YouTube
Iron
it. I
Chef
think.
Show.
But
I remember doing an episode with Charlie Bamforth and. Who else was on that? We had to judge the beers. You'd make people construct like brewing sculptures out of like clay pots.
Honestly, it was super creative for
did you
what
watch
we
the show?
did with.
No, I don't believe so.
What we had to work with.
It just sounds like
we
did
had
a great job.
We had zero budget, and they were like, create a series for us. And we JP were like, what the fuck do we know? All right.
It was good.
So we made a Survivor. So it started out with I don't know how many homebrewers, and the idea was to get down to one winner. You know, and we put them on teams, and there was a little sabotage. We had some cool things going on.
Man, I remember sitting there in your living room writing all this stuff, and then we would go to them, and then you would go to them because you were the showrunner, I suppose, in those terms. And then you come back and be like, we can't do any of that because it's going to cost money, and we don't have it. I'm like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do?
Right.
And we pulled it off. It was pretty,
Yeah, because at that point, instead of saying, no, I can't do this for you, I'm like, all right, well, we'll figure out how to do it with no money.
So like
the first episode, I literally went to a junkyard and grabbed a bunch of shit. For, they gave me $60 to spend or some stupid thing. And we go to the More Beer parking lot, and I put them in teams, and I go, build a brewery out of the garbage. That's what they had to do. And they did it.
They did it.
That's awesome.
So anyway, I think
and then I think the next show they had to use it to actually make beer with.
Yeah.
Which was the other twist.
That's right.
Which nobody knew about it, which I thought was a pretty cool idea. Like, they didn't know it had to be functional.
Yeah.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
And then
Let's
another
bring it back.
another show, we gave each brewery each group a secret ingredient.
That's right.
And we gave it to them ahead of time. We're like, here's your group's secret ingredient. So when you come to the filming, you're going to, however you want to use this ingredient, you're going to make this beer. And then we got to the day of, and we said, okay, did you all, create a way to use your secret ingredient? And they say, yes. And we go, great. Now we're switching it. We're making you give your secret ingredient to the other team, and now you have to brew with their secret ingredient.
No, I think it was even more devious. I think they brought their own secret ingredient because that one team bought like a double copper pot to make caramel.
Oh yeah.
And then we had to change, and they're like, I don't understand. So the team that got the thing, like, I don't know how to do.
And we're like,
what's this?
Sorry, bro.
Yeah.
We were geniuses. That was a great show.
Yeah. Brian Shar, my co-host on Dr. Homebrew, he was on that show. And then the winner ultimately was Steve Doty, who owns
a brewery
Oak
now. Became a professional brewer.
Santa Rosa.
So he did our job even.
Yeah. Shady Oak, good stuff.
At the final episode, I met the GM.
It was an ESB that won it.
Who's
no idea.
The GM at Public House in San Francisco is now my GM here, and I'd met him there. I stole him from from all that. I feel like the show has become about me instead of
It
our
always is.
wonderful.
How about this stout?
It's my best. Well, let's do this. I want more of this stout. Can we take a quick break and come back and try it?
Fill her up.
Because I want more, and I want a cold one, and it's a wonderful stout. So let's do that. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back, and we'll talk more with Riip.
Justin Crossley.
Yeah, Riip Beer Company. Hang in
Great
there.
interview with him.
It's the session.
Hi, this is Tyler from Libertine Brewing Company in the Central Coast of California. You're listening to Brewing Network, The Session. It sucks. Does it suck? It sucks. But that's what's good about it, is that it sucks, right?
All right, welcome back to the show. Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. We're still with Riip Beer Company. We've got Ian McCall in the studio with us. I just got another one of his Dan K IPAs, West Coast IPA.
He must really like it.
I'm loving it. And
That's what he's telling you.
Not always, IPAs aren't always my favorite. I do like IPAs, but I enjoyed your pale after a couple of those, but I had to go back to the Dan K. It's really nice.
Thank you.
But also in our glass, we wanted to talk about this, is your Coffee Imperial Stout, right?
Yes, so this is called the Rizzo.
The Rizzo.
As we were joking about earlier.
Yeah.
I definitely want to do a play on some Wu-Tang, the Rizzo, the Rizzo.
Yep.
So a buddy of mine, really close friend of mine, he was the lead roaster at Portola.
Okay.
As you know, Portola.
Portola Coffee.
Kills it out of Costa Mesa.
Mm-hmm.
And they're winning awards right and left, not only with Beechwood, but with Tustin Brewing Company. And a lot of Orange County brewers are just all over that Portola tip all day long. And they deserve it, man. Jeff Dugan has built an awesome program there. He's had killer roasters through.
Mm-hmm.
But Adam and I became really close friends. His name is Rizzo, Adam Rizzo.
Okay.
And so that's where the namesake for this beer came from.
Got it.
Before he moved, he's on his way right now. I saw him last night here in the city. He's on his way to Michigan to start a new roastery out there.
Oh, wow.
With Holmes Brewing. I don't know if you're familiar or heard about those guys.
No.
It sounds like they're playing the hype game pretty heavily out there and kicking some serious ass.
Okay.
So they're going to open a roastery out there, and he's going back to his hometown, Ann Arbor in Michigan.
Did you say they're opening a broastery?
A broastery.
That's a great name for a...
doesn't Charo Chicken have that one under taken care of?
Oh, I guess so, yeah. That would be a good name.
Yeah, it is a good name.
So, coffee and then some vanilla in this beer as well?
So this beer is, it's actually got 3 different kinds of oats. It's got malted oats, golden naked oats, and flaked oats.
Why? Why the 3 different?
Why not?
Does it kind of layer? Does it kind of layer it in?
It layers in flavor. I mean, I think I can pull it up, but there's probably about 12 different malts that go into this beer in total.
Okay.
Along with 3 different kinds of oats.
Are you using rice hulls in this?
No, I don't believe there were any rice hulls.
Because of the amount of oats, right?
There might have been. Yeah, there might have been.
Well, dark malt and all that, unhusked malt. And it's just
get a little pasty.
You're latering. You're latering.
You're latering.
As you say in Wisconsin.
Well, that's a good question. But you don't have any trouble latering this beer?
This is the first time I brewed it. I don't remember. No, I didn't have any problem at all.
Okay.
So it's
12
10%.
different malts. Wow.
It's 10%. It started at like 1.1. So what's that? 25 Plato.
Okay. Yeah.
And worked its way down. I think it finished at about 5.5, 6.
Nice. Wow. Doesn't taste 10%. Doesn't drink like that.
No, for
not
sure.
at all. Which is why I'm sipping on it. I don't want to. I don't want to go too hard on this beer because it tastes like a 7%.
Yeah, it does.
Stout.
It smells hot, but it tastes like really low.
Yeah.
This is,
no burn at all.
Yeah, about 3 1/4, 3.5 pounds of coffee per barrel.
Wow.
Adam put this roast together for us. It's about 65% Ethiopian Arty and 35% Colombian.
Okay.
Dark roast or light or...
Portola is a third wave coffee roaster,
Okay,
and
so
they
it's
keep
light.
it pretty light. I know he went a little bit further than normal on this roast in particular.
Well, the Colombian you have to a little bit. Colombian's more.
It smells like a
deeper
70
medium
Agtron.
roast. Ethiopian's kind of a lighter roast because it has a lot of those fruity kind of notes that brings it. And Colombian's more,
but a lot of that
earthy, a little darker.
A lot of that chocolate kind of character comes specifically from the coffee.
Interesting.
The Colombian.
We did use Tahitian vanilla in this. I picked up about a pound of that, and added that in the bright tank as well.
That smells great.
Do they just brew the coffee and then you pour it into the tank?
We go in ground coffee in the bright tank.
Oh, you put the ground coffee in there.
Interesting.
Okay.
All right.
So it's a French press grind that goes in bags along with vanilla in the bright tank.
I see.
It sits in there for it's 48, 72 hours before we transfer it back off the coffee.
Wow.
Into a second. We go back into a fermenter because we only have one bright tank.
Okay. Do you think you get something out of that you wouldn't by brewing the coffee and just adding it to it?
Yeah, I mean, I personally think so. Yeah. That's part of that is my experience. That's something that I'm used to doing. It's normal. And the secondary transfer is really it's more for homogenization than anything else.
I see. Okay.
Whereas if you just putting the coffee in the bright tank and then packaging it, you're going to have some really coffee-forward kegs at the beginning.
Oh, interesting.
And some less so coffee kegs towards the end.
That makes sense.
You're putting the grinds in there? Are you hanging in bags, or what are you doing?
We're not hanging because my bright tank doesn't really have anything to hang it off of.
Okay.
But
they are in bags.
I'm using an old Beechwood trick. We got a 4-inch TC tea that you can just drop in there during Sani and blow out all the sanitizer. Throw your bags in over top, and it's going to block your hole.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
After having a 10% alcohol beer, that has a whole other meaning.
That's right. Yeah. This is a great beer.
Thank you very much.
That's very nice.
This is up your alley, JP. You like this style.
I really do.
Yeah.
I really do.
And the vanilla is pretty damn subtle.
Yeah,
probably because of all those chocolate notes you're talking about. That
for sure, and I mean it's just like it's 1 pound of vanilla in 8 barrels of beer.
Sure.
So it's not meant to be overwhelming. Vanilla is so goddamn expensive that
I was just going to say, oh my god!
It also doesn't take much to be
justify more than 1 pound.
Yeah,
it's
watermelon. There you go. It's the dark beer talk.
Always a company man.
Yeah, sorry. Let me talk about my beer now. After Justin's talking about himself for a half an hour.
You know, this stout reminds me of watermelon wheat, and let me tell you,
available
in great
now
detail,
at Safeway.
Just why?
It's going back to vanilla. Vanilla's like insane right now. Usually it's like what $9.99 a pound. And it's like $200,
$300 a pound. That's the cheapest I can find.
Isn't that like gold? Isn't gold $300?
Yeah,
really?
Yeah.
There was huge windstorms.
No, gold was $300 a pound at one point in time.
I see. Back in the 70s.
That was when weed was more expensive than gold. And now.
How do you know that?
Yeah, well.
Guerneville.
I should have bought gold.
Construction.
Right. I like this beer a lot.
Thank you very much.
And
yeah, it's good.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm having it in small glasses too.
I mean,
though,
back to the experiences and lessons I learned from Beechwood, from Jules, and I'll tell you, this beer plays on a lot of that stuff. Julian has gone out; he's gone out of his way with Jeff Dugan from Portola to go and talk at festivals about how to brew good coffee beer.
Really?
And
what are some of those tips?
Oh shit! I'd rather let Julian talk about that.
Yeah, let Jules. Sure. Well, one of them obviously is not to brew the beer and then throw it in. I'm guessing
a good idea. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, look, Julian's early homebrew recipes were so awesome. Tavares used to have. I'm pretty sure the first batch of Tavares that was brewed at the brew pub was killer. And I think he got all that coffee at Pete's Coffee at that point in time.
Oh, no kidding. Okay.
And was literally making espresso single pulls on the stove in Beechwood and then adding that to the beer.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was. Some of those early days at Beechwood were crazy.
Because he was a home brewer. Home brewer gone pro. And it's like, he knew how to make those batches taste great. He did make great beer as a home brewer.
Awesome.
That's how we met him, too, down at the Southern California Homebrew Festival.
Yeah.
And all of his beer was killer. So I guess, I'm not so surprised that he would use techniques like that.
Right. I mean,
Except that he's a smart guy, and that sounds awful.
back to my early days, I've known Gabe and Lena of Beechwood for years.
Okay.
When I was at Brewbakers, they opened up Beechwood in Seal Beach, so I think they're going on 12 years now.
Mm-hmm.
And shortly after they opened, they had a hard time getting bread supplier. And so they came to us, and we were a bakery as well, and asked us to start making their bread, onion rolls and potato rolls.
Wow.
And so there were days early on there where I'd show up to work. Either me or Dennis would show up at 5, 6 in the morning, make rolls, deliver them to Beechwood, and then I'd go back to the Brewbakers and sleep in my truck for a couple hours.
Yeah.
And then work the entire day.
Wow.
But yeah, I mean, delivering bread to Beechwood years ago.
Sure.
Now you're raking in bread, right?
Yeah, I wish. Dough.
It's money a joke,
dad
guys.
jokes.
Yeah.
And now you're delivering beer, basically.
Yeah. Not as much as always, but we're working on it.
Yeah. Okay. I still love that concept, I'm telling you.
It's great, man.
Yeah. Go check it out.
We're going to do it again. We got to figure out how to staff it and make sure it fucking happens.
Yeah.
It's a good idea.
More breweries should look into that.
Go to riipbeer.com. That's riipbeer.com. You can learn more about the brewery, and you can see their delivery truck, which is super cool.
Very cool.
It is the coolest thing. It probably doesn't run very well very often.
It runs really well right now. It doesn't start up very well at the moment. Okay. We're going to put some work into it.
We actually dropped the Porsche engine into it.
What you can't see from... Sorry, I'm jumping back. What you can't see from the website is that on the back side of it, we do have 4 faucets.
Nice.
And we do rent it out to parties.
Okay.
So if you want to have a party at your house and rent some and buy some kegs,
I do,
and rent the van, we'll get it to your party.
Well, I want 4 kegs at my house. I don't want a party.
Right.
Yes to everything.
That is a party. Do you have like any stories of that thing breaking down in like the worst possible time for you? Because it is an older vehicle, is why
it is. It is. So this is actually this vehicle was owned by Dennis, the owner of Brewbakers, when I was still working there. And every single year for 4th of July, we would actually run the Helms truck in the parade. And the parade goes super slow. Yeah. And without fail, the Helms truck would probably overheat and die about halfway up Main Street.
In the middle of the parade.
In the middle of the parade.
Yeah.
And so we'd get out and push it. But
oh my God.
The problem is, you got to line up for the parade at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And we would fill the entire back of the Helms truck with beer.
Okay.
And be jumping in and out of it on the parade route, drinking beer at 6, 7 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And then have to push this thing once it overheated. And so, without fail, we would stop pushing it about halfway up. There's a real estate agency about halfway up Main Street. And they always threw a monster party.
Oh, gosh.
And we would just push this thing until we hit that. And then just bring out all the beer. And it was a house party for the rest of the day.
This sounds like very much like a Brewing Network operation.
Oh, for sure.
So
let's do this. Let's commit and then give up to go drink.
or have these. I feel like I'm good at these great ideas that are incredibly difficult to execute. Like that. Like this truck is a great idea, and putting in a parade is a great idea, but incredibly difficult to execute. So much so that like our John Plisse helped start the Brewing Network with me. He didn't last long for this very reason because of my stupid fucking ideas. He was like, I can't with this. I can't do this.
This guy's insane.
So I love you for this.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's awesome.
Well done.
Go to riipbeer.com and learn all about it and read their story. The About page there is very thorough, and that's where I learned about you guys. Start with a more beer sculpture, which I always like to hear. If it's good enough for Russian River, it's probably good enough for Riip.
Right.
There you go.
It's good enough for Justin Sideyard. It's good enough for anybody else.
Buy your BNA 14 tickets right now, and you get for your chance to win a more beer brewing sculpture. As a matter of fact,
not just any.
Yeah.
The.
Yeah.
Hey, stereo.
It is the. That's right.
We should start a brewery, silly.
We got an Instagram as well. It's at Riip Beer.
Okay.
And then our tap list is actually constantly updated at Riip This.
Riip This.
Riip This.
Okay.
And it's just a constant cycle of pictures of what's on tap at the moment.
Oh, you just do pictures of it.
Yeah,
I believe you.
It works out really well.
I was looking at your page and so when I click on beers, it was just a bunch of pictures. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, so that's actually a link to Riip This, I believe, on Instagram, isn't it?
JP, look at this beer. I feel like that's the one you would order. The second one in there, that would be the first beer that you ordered.
That's probably Citratical, which is a brand new hazy pale ale, 100% Citra.
You should have just called it Hazy AF.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's a hazy beer.
Honestly,
right
I feel the bile working up in my stomach. No joke.
Talk about that.
No joke.
What's this raspberry?
That looks
beer?
like Gummy Berry Crush, which is it's a 5.5% blonde ale with raspberry puree and depectinized cherry puree.
Oh, that sounds pretty good, dude. Right now, let's go.
Sounds delicious. Yeah. Okay, so you can check it out on Instagram, which is at
Riip This is our tap list, and at Riip Beer is our personal our business Instagram.
That's a clever way to put what beers are on tap.
Yeah, some people do it on Twitter. Twitter's big for that, but I like the Instagram version too because you get a little marketing out of it, and you get knowledge out of it.
It'll probably get stolen, but what's nice about it is you can take a picture and you can archive the picture.
Yeah.
Oh,
and so it stays on your Instagram, but it doesn't show.
I see.
So when the beer comes back around, you just pull it right out of the archive and throw it in.
Smart.
Oh.
Smart. Sully's taking notes right now. I can tell.
You're welcome.
First of all, how do you spell
remember?
Instagram? Can you talk
slower, please?
Remember social media, Sully?
Yes.
You know.
What is Instagram?
I'm pretty sure Sully's the first. Sully got me on Facebook. I remember back in the day, he was like, "You should do this. It's for it's good for your business." I was like, "I don't know. I have to like communicate with people that way."
It was awkward for you at first.
You did. You were like, "No, listen. I'm sorry. You got to get on these things."
I used to do the social media, the 218. I think we got us up to like 30,000 followers.
Wow.
That was just me and my fingers.
Just you sitting in your underwear, getting you guys some
Sitting
followers.
on the toilet like the president.
Yeah. All right. RIIPbeer.com. Go to ripbeer.com. Check it out. All right. We got a couple things left to do. We have a Twitter game to finish up. But have you heard about this beer called Toaster Pastry, JP?
Pastry?
Toaster Pastry.
No, I ate paste in kindergarten. I don't know. Pastry.
Pastry.
Oh, yes, I have, as a matter of fact.
From the 21st Amendment, and guess what? Toaster Pastry is back.
What?
I don't know if you all knew this. I don't know if everyone in the studio knew this.
What?
But Toaster Pastry is back.
My manufactured outrage is running out.
And actually, in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the Insurrection Series beers at the 21st Amendment, they've revived 3 crowd favorites in the 2019 lineup.
There we go.
Toaster Pastry, India Red Ale.
Yes.
That's one of them. Guess what the next one is? Hop Crisis.
Hop Crisis?
Hop Crisis Imperial IPA.
Did I say that? That's so good.
And the third one? Monk's Blood.
Monk's Blood.
Yeah.
I heard it's made with real monks.
Yeah, that's right. Strong dark ale.
Watch out.
Toaster Pastry was the first beer that the 21st Amendment brewed out of their new brewery in San Leandro.
That's right.
That was way back in 2015.
That's right.
The former occupants of the building, a little company you might have heard of called Kellogg's. Well, of course, they made like Frosted Flakes and Pop-Tarts and, well, toaster pastries, if you think about it. So the biscuity malts and sweet hop flavor of Toaster Pastry is an homage to their predecessors and the incredible facility that has now become the 2NA World Headquarters and Brewhouse.
That's right.
What would you say the ABV is on that beer, JP?
Man, I would say,
if
I had to guess, I would say 6.7%.
Switch that around exactly.
7.6?
That's exactly what it is.
You'd never know it.
6%.
That sounds so natural.
Right. And 74 Ibus.
Oh, shit.
Ibus.
Oh, man. That's a lot.
That was a fun beer to brew.
How many Ibus is
does
the
it have information on the new 21A Beechwood collaboration?
I didn't know. No, I don't have that in mind.
It's another pastry style called Shrego Maego.
Perfect, yes.
Hey, you're stepping on my spot right now.
That's right. Well, if you're wondering, Toaster Pastry is available in stores now, and it is a limited release, so grab it if you see it. I saw it just the other day, as a matter of fact. And get ready for Hop Crisis. Actually, that should be out this month, I believe.
It is
and followed by Monk's Blood at the end of the year.
I love Toaster Pastry. It was the unofficial beer at my wedding.
Oh, yeah?
Remember, Sully brought a ton while we were getting ready for the old ceremony.
I got really drunk there.
Me too. And my lorazepam didn't help.
Right.
But I remember drinking those beers, like getting ready, and it was really cool. It was a cool moment in my life.
It's good beer. Bevo, what's wrong with you right now? Are you okay? So you made a face like...
well, they can't hear me talking, but I can hear the people out there.
I see.
And I have the score on.
It was still a very strange face.
What kind of startled me?
It was both joy yet like disaster.
She's back there watching the game,
which she never does her job. Just so you know, Ian.
I'm not watching the game.
This is like if it's not the game, it's shopping. Is the game over? Bevo, you can tell me.
I just heard a whistle. I don't know.
I thought you were watching it.
I'm not watching it. No.
Are you watching the score?
Yeah, you literally just said you have the score up.
I did have the score up, but now I don't.
Oh, why?
I just checked it.
I have the score
yes.
up. Oh,
Score's
my
done.
God.
They won.
By 1
they won.
point. 106-105.
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's too bad.
Way to get it down to the wire.
Congratulations, Warriors.
Warriors. We're still in it.
No, Toronto won, right?
No.
Just kidding.
No. Sorry, Canada.
No. I think everybody should win at least once. I'm rooting for the Blues for the Stanley Cups here. They're ready for that.
Isn't that over? I thought that's over.
No.
What sport is that?
Hockey.
Okay, good.
The only real sport.
Hockey's still going on?
Yeah, dude. They just had Game 6 last night.
Is it the longest playoff in history of sports?
It is. It goes on
I
for
feel
2
like
years.
a month ago it was the playoffs.
Well, because they do 4 rounds and it's a best of 7, and the Sharks went 7 games pretty much every round until
And
they
then
got knocked
lost?
out. Yeah,
Oh,
so
as
it
always,
just
huh?
yeah, basically. So it just stretches out that chunk of time.
Are you sure? I can't believe it's still going on.
Yeah, and I'm positive. I just watched it yesterday.
Okay.
I don't believe him either.
Yeah.
All right. Check
So
out
there you
Toaster
go.
Pastry if you
Do
see
it.
it on the shelf.
Please do it.
Please do that.
Yeah.
Here, I'll write you a check now.
Thank you.
Drink 21 beer.
How did
Thank
you?
you.
How did I do, Silly?
It was
I
pretty-
got
it
to
was-
critique you.
It was
so-
like 89%.
Oh god.
That means your check will be 89%.
Yeah, you're going to have to talk about your read.
It also might mean my appendix is failing.
As with your girlfriends, everything is based on performance.
That's right. Yeah. That's why I'm so lonely. All right. What else did I have to do? Twitter game.
Yeah.
What was our Twitter game today, JP?
Our Twitter game. I'm glad you asked me that, Justin, because I'm ready
you would
to tell you what it was. Inspired by Scott's opinions on Bevo's various parts.
Yeah.
Tell the rest of us what your least favorite body part is of ours.
Of ours. Okay.
Yes.
The collective ours.
The collective ours.
Did we include Ian in that, or
We did not include Ian in
That's
that.
probably
no.
good.
But we should have.
He's too new to take that kind of abuse.
I think he could handle it. He could handle it.
Yeah, he worked construction in Guerneville. I feel like he's been through a lot of hazing.
I don't know. I feel like he's a sensitive guy. He puts out that rough exterior,
Rough
but
and
he's
tough exterior,
But
yeah.
he's very sensitive.
I think you should try hugging and kissing on him.
See
just
how
to
that?
see.
Yeah,
I want to watch
that's
that. I'm older. I might need that.
You know,
I mean, is
Corey's
this
going to
on?
try that tonight.
Yeah. All right. Well, how did they do? They didn't do so great last week.
They didn't, but they redeemed themselves today.
Where's my notepad?
I don't know. There's never a notepad here when you need it.
Right on that check there.
I mean, why do people steal it? It's like, does anybody else? It's my seat, and there's a notepad here. And why would you come take? Did you take it, or did somebody else
she
take
was
it?
taking the
Bevo
orders
just
for-
tried to walk out of the office with her headphones
my
on.
order.
She closed the door on her headphone wire and didn't realize until it about ripped off her head.
Bev's a walking cartoon.
Ripped off her head.
Steal those from you.
Whatever.
Watch Bev on Cartoon Network Saturdays at 8.
By the way, our
Anchored by
YouTube
SpongeBob.
feed is all jacked up this week, so
Yeah,
don't.
so deal with it.
Have we actually been doing a show?
Yeah, right. So sorry about. Don't write to me about the fucking camera angles this year, this month, this time.
This day.
Oh my
Today.
God.
This moment of my life.
I'm pretty
the
sure I
heat.
just had a stroke.
Yeah. You should
Or-
probably stop
And
working
I'm
out.
the dumb one.
Yeah.
I'm stroking out right now.
And then
Okay.
stroking off.
That's
I
not
guess.
funny.
So JP, it's too soon.
I might have one right now. I'm
Exactly.
keeping up, and I'm trying to have an ailment a week here.
We should change the death pool to the stroke pool. Will it be me or Sully who strokes out first?
He beat him by 2 minutes. They both went down that day.
Yeah, we got to start hanging out more, Sully, so that we can, stroke out together.
Wait, what?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So how much was the offer anyway, Sully? Was it when you got that offer?
$1 billion.
Was it 100 mil? Was it? Do you have a number? You don't have to tell me the number, but do you think you have a number?
Do I have a number? What are you talking about?
Like everybody has
Everyone
a
has
number,
a number.
right?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
everyone's
Sleep
got a number.
number, Sully.
I mean, sleep number is 23.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
And usually,
That's fair.
the third date, some action will happen.
Yeah. It's
I
fair
know.
but firm.
I just realized I know far too much about Sully. He does not use a sleep. He sleeps on a Vera Wang.
Vera Wang bed.
No,
That's
not
right.
anymore.
Oh.
That's like old. That was like 4 beds ago.
I see.
That was like 4 relationships ago.
The princess
Actually,
and
it's
the
funny-
pea
it's
over
funny
here,
you
dude.
Your
Every
mattress with every relationship?
Yeah,
Oh, burn that
I think I
one.
should do that.
Yeah, it's
All right,
funny.
I got to get another
This
one.
one's dirty.
I had 4 years on that.
It's a sanitary
No, but
thing to do.
I was into this bed Vera Wang, and I talked about it endlessly on social media way back in the day. And I remember
$10,000 mattress.
She makes great dresses too.
She does. It's interesting
Yeah.
that you know that, actually.
I told you he's sensitive.
He's wearing one now.
Guerneville.
Yeah.
But Greg from Stone actually ended up buying one because I would not stop talking about it. And then I ended up meeting up with him somewhere, and he said that bed was okay.
And he was disappointed. So that's awful. You're
yeah.
like, shit.
Oh, I felt good that he bought one. Actually,
What do you sleep on now?
I sleep. Actually, I think I sleep on a
A bed of prostitutes.
Is it memory foam or is
No,
it?
I don't like. I do not like memory foam.
I love memory
I know.
foam.
I feel
Me
like
too.
I think memory foam is like the carbonite, that Han Solo was in. It's like it's forming your body.
It is,
I had a
yeah.
really bad memory foam experience in Murphy actually, and it was like it was just terrible, and you were stuck in that position, literally
Right.
carbonite. You couldn't
They're
do it.
not good for sexual
think-
relations. Foams.
Actually, I would agree. I think that's I think you're right. I learned that too
I've
with
had
Murphy.
no-
You're
I-
like your knees kind of dip
Yeah.
down in.
It's like-
I had
it's
a
like
really
doing that in
firm
deep
one,
sand.
though.
I
Like the
see.
Tempur-Pedic, like really firm one.
Well, and you've got a baby. I don't, so
That's
I would.
true.
You're clearly it worked.
It clearly worked.
It worked once.
Yeah, that's right. When I had the sex.
One time.
Yeah.
How long have you been married now?
The stuff came out 4 years. Almost 4 years September.
He said that.
Does your sex life follow the decline in...
What's your number?
It's dipped a little bit because we're just fucking tired.
He's got a baby.
Tired all the time.
Right.
And honestly, you don't really even think about it.
Yeah.
You're just trying to go from one crisis. We don't eat dinner until 9 o'clock.
Okay, why?
Because
the baby's busy?
the kid's having a hard time going to sleep because she's teething, and so
I see.
She's trying to go to bed at 7, 8. Kid's not falling asleep. Last night she went to bed around 9:30, and we're like, "Fuck, dude!" And we got to eat, and then you just
right.
I got to go to bed. I'm exhausted, but I've never slept as long continuously. Since before I had the kid, I used to wake up all the time.
Because now
and have
she
this
sleeps
insomnia.
the night through?
Well, she sleeps the night through, but now I'm so exhausted and so tired, I'm not waking up as often as I used to from just my crazy brain worms.
That's good for you.
Yeah, it's good for me. So there's
So it sounds
pros
like
and
everything's
cons.
okay.
Yeah.
Except you're not having a lot of sex.
Well, right, but there's always chatterbait, so it's fine.
Sure.
Wait, what's that again? Is that .com?
Yes.
How old are your kids, Ian?
2 and 5.
2 and 5. Okay, so you've been through this shit.
Yeah, we sleep pretty well now, and we have a lot of sex. So
there you go.
Oh man,
It comes around.
JP's over there going, "Fuck that guy."
I didn't want to say it because I feel bad about it, but yeah, I don't feel that bad.
I don't feel that bad. I ain't feeling bad. How old's your boy now, Sully?
16.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, like going around the room here, like Beth, you're up next.
I told you I had this thought about.
Well,
a
and
child
Sully's
this
taking all of
weekend.
his son's girlfriends now too.
They're like right in the
Stopped
right age.
doing that a long time ago.
When he got mad. And...
Hey, let me ask you a question, Cindy. Look, Brian's a great guy, but I can drive.
Yeah.
So what's going on?
That is so sick.
Is your boy dating yet? He must be at 16.
No, yeah.
Really?
Well, I mean, he's 16, so
Okay.
I'm talking to girls, but
Why would you date at that age?
Yeah.
Well, he's
Keep your options open.
Yeah,
he's
true.
taller than me.
Is he taller than you now?
Yeah.
You're
He's
kidding.
like 6'2", yeah.
That's crazy.
It's funny because he's kind of like notices it a little bit right now.
Right.
And so I love it, man. He's going to be 6'4". That's what the doctor said. So it must be true.
Wow. He's your best buddy right now.
He's we have a good relationship, a solid relationship.
Good for you.
That's nice.
Good for you. So, JP, do that.
Yeah. No, my kid's my best friend. I
Yeah.
tell her everything.
That doesn't surprise
I don't do that. I do not
That
do
doesn't
that.
surprise anybody.
Right.
You're like, I don't have to leave the house.
Yeah.
She doesn't judge me.
That's right.
I just judge her.
Oh, she does.
Right.
I've seen the pictures.
She does.
And she's still young enough you can watch 8mm and she won't even remember.
Right.
Oh, dude, Nightmare on Elm Street. Like, we're going there. Like, it's fine.
Or 7.
But I mean, she's a toddler, man.
What's in the
she's,
box?
She's starting to glare, and she's starting to fight back, and she'll have something she's not supposed to have, and I'll try to take it away from her, and she closes her fist tighter and pulls away.
Wow.
And I'm like, I will reach back into last week and knock you into next week. Like, you can't do not. I mean, I'm not that
can't
rough,
do
but like,
that.
Right.
I know it was a joke.
No.
But
Hang on, I'm calling child
I know.
protective
I know I'm
services
biased.
There's
My
a
daughter's-
knock on the
my
door.
daughter's so goddamn cute, but she's got this new problem where she just everything you say, you're like, "Hey, come over here." She's like, "Never."
Oh my!
wow.
Where did she get that?
Oh, dude, it's the worst.
Never. I love this.
Did
And
you-
it's hard to be mad at that.
I think
Well,
your house is haunted.
Like the other day we're at her swim
seen
class,
this
and
movie
she's like,
before.
she's in this little kiddie pool, and I started counting to 3, and I'm like, I'm gonna take away this and this and this because that's how I grew up.
Yeah.
And I got to 2, and I realized, oh fuck, I don't want to take away anything.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a dick all night. Just
Yeah.
So I had my work pants on. I took off my shoes, rolled my work pants up, and like picked her up out of the pool, and was like, "There's so much right now."
Yeah. I'm talking about this so I get
It's
rid
a
of this
pain in the
child
ass to,
thought.
like,
It sounds awful.
Oh man, they're awesome. They're great.
They're great, but it's a
Other
lot of
people's kids are
bullshit.
great.
It's a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
That's
You gotta
why
deal with a lot
other
of
people's
bullshit.
kids are great.
I think you luck out or you have a challenging child.
Okay, there's
Yeah.
not much
See,
in between. Like you,
Yeah.
No,
I don't think
Yeah.
so. I think there's a rumor of the perfect kid or like the good kid.
Abigail.
No, that's fake.
Okay.
It's. I think parents are different, and I think that's really all that matters. It's how you approach it when the kid is an infant determines how the kid is as a toddler.
I
disagree. I disagree.
Welcome
My
to the
son- my
nature
son
versus
is-
nurture debate.
My son
Okay,
is so
right.
easy. My daughter,
Pain in the ass.
nightmare.
You give her the finger behind her back.
Oh fuck, all the time.
Yeah. You're like, you're such an asshole.
I don't know. I mean, I
so
just
cute.
That's my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's get this Twitter game over.
Yeah.
What do we got for
I'm
the
done.
Twitter game? Yeah.
Look who's producing the show.
Ian writes in and says, the unruly graying pube wig that Justin calls hair.
Oh, my gosh.
I've heard that one before.
That's harsh. Pube wig?
It's your least favorite attribute, according to Ian.
God, what are you Beaver's giving him a standing ovation for that right now.
I mean, it's pretty unruly, and it's graying.
Unruly graying. That is harsh. I'm usually okay. I have a thick skin.
Great.
That's why. That's not great.
Wig.
It's pretty funny.
That's a good one.
I love you, and I don't think your hair's bad.
Thank you.
But it is.
Like a silver
I feel like
wig.
that was my best feature.
Well, that's definitely not true.
I'm going to go smoke a cigarette.
I think you should. Have two. Fuck
Yeah.
it.
My lungs are my worst feature.
Gregory England says JP's thyroid.
It's gone.
Which is gone, right? So let's take Gregory out.
Yeah.
Gregory.
He hasn't.
I mean, technically, it was your least favorite feature at one point, but fucking 2011 called.
Yeah. Well, you know what? At least it wasn't even my least favorite feature. I would have taken the cancerous thyroid over some of my other features.
Really?
Yeah.
That's,
Which
wow,
one are those?
you really
Like
do
my
hate
hair.
some of your features.
Yeah, I just want my hair
I would
back,
rather have a cancerous thyroid than my head.
You're all, you know, yeah.
Pretty much on par.
Brian King says Moscow's brain for thinking the soundboard is a good idea.
It's my least favorite fucking thing. Okay, I'm writing that down.
Sam says JP's face. And he says you were all thinking it.
Okay, these are a little mean.
They seriously are.
I mean, would you think...
You asked for it.
How nice is it when someone goes, here's your least favorite feature according to me? It's pretty mean, right?
Yeah.
These are all going to be mean.
When you ask the internet for advice, it's horrible.
Right.
Yeah.
Nick says Scott's vocal cords.
Wow.
Gosh. Wow.
Yeah. Welcome to Roast
Write that one down.
Masters.
Yeah. All right.
Lloyd says the small part of Bebo's brain that keeps her from kicking Scott's ass. Come on, we all want to see a beat down.
Right. Okay.
Wait, I don't understand. Is that my worst part or my best part?
That's your worst part. The worst part of you.
Oh, is the thing
It's the worst part
prohibiting me
because
from...
it keeps you from kicking his ass. Yeah.
Got it.
I understand now, too.
Thank you.
It has been explained for the elders.
What did he say?
The Brewer of Seville says, does memory count as a body part? I mean, hell, I'm still waiting on my prize for winning this game 4 months ago.
Oh.
Is that true, Bebo?
No way that's true.
Well, apparently you've been called out.
Honestly, if it is true, send me an email because I missed it because I keep up on this crap.
Okay.
He's a professional.
Bracken says, all of Moscow. Jay, blink twice if you're being held against your will. And then last but not least, Sam says Doc's wife. Thankfully, he got that removed.
Wow, that's a callback to the early days.
So we got some, people responded to this one. And honestly, I didn't really have much hope for it. But
Well, we're going to go through and rate some of these.
We're going to do what?
First, we're going to rate them.
Oh, okay, got it.
So we're going to. First of all, mine was the meanest. That's the meanest answer we've ever gotten on Twitter.
It was very mean.
I mean, I bet we could find. Yeah, it's pretty. It was 89% mean. That's
yeah.
for sure, yeah.
What is it again? That's the whole thing again?
The unruly graying pube wig that Justin calls hair.
Okay, so that's our meanest one.
If it makes you feel better, he misspelled your name. He added a G to the end of it. So
Justin.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you can burn him on that one.
Moscow's brain?
Yeah,
What's
for
the next
thinking the
one?
soundboard is a good idea.
That one is the most accurate.
I heard that he sat in for the Jamil show and then used the soundboard.
Really?
Wow. How did Jamil feel about that?
I don't know.
I would think Jamil would fucking hate that and would say something about it. Jamil's not very good about not
Personal
just
interaction?
saying what he thinks.
He's just tired, too.
He is
Super
also just tired, but
yeah.
he's a guy who's like, actually, fuck off.
Right.
Okay. JP's face, come on, you were all thinking it.
Yeah.
Second most accurate.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, I would look. It's not that accurate. It's like fourth accurate.
You're right. I agree. But it was the
second most mean.
I don't know. If you trimmed both sides of your mustache, it would.
Both sides, not just
sides.
one.
Yeah.
Like halfway on both sides.
Yeah, I think you should. I mean, I think I should.
Wait, so would he look like Hitler?
I think that's what he was going for. Just walking the joke wall.
Okay.
Look, we all have. Never mind.
Scott's vocal cords. That's okay. The small part of Bevo's brain that keeps her from kicking Scott's ass.
yeah.
That one's pretty good because it has a lot to do with the game, obviously.
Yeah.
The prize one in your memory, that was no good.
Doc's wife.
All of Moscow and Doc's wife. I'm going to take those out.
Okay.
So I feel like what we're left with is I'm going to take out Scott's vocal quarts 2. We're left with Justin's pube wig.
You just like saying that.
Moscow's brain for thinking the soundboard. It's good. JP's face, we were all thinking it, and the small part of Bevo's brain. Okay, so we're going to go around and raise your hand.
Oh, do I get to vote this week?
You get to vote this week. Yeah. Don't die before I let you vote.
I'm going to hold on until after the vote.
Thank you.
It's the one thing I've living
It's like
for.
I'm a state senator.
It's like the new Star Wars movie. I can't wait to see it.
Or Supreme Court justice.
All right, raise your hand if it's Justin's pube wig.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Unanimous.
Yeah.
Unanimous win.
Yeah.
God, I hate this
Goes
game.
right back to you
That's
guys.
our winner today.
Hey.
Unanimous vote.
Well,
who did that anyway? Do I know them?
Ian?
Ian, did you write that in?
Yeah, that was my personal one.
God damn it.
Well, look, Justin.
This is my house.
Yeah, this is Justin's house.
Yeah, thank you.
I had a show joke for that one, but I didn't write it.
Didn't do it.
That's okay.
Well, you brought us great beer, so everything is forgiven always. Yeah. In fact, round of applause for your beer. Yeah.
Thank you.
Some good stuff. I'm going to have another one with dinner after the show here, which I think will be fun. Yeah. What else do I have to do?
Eat dinner, have a beer, and that will be fun.
Let me see. Check. I did the.
Put a smoking jacket on.
I did the 2-1A read. That's done. I think we did a good job. On it,
I was just going to say, like,
I think that was one of our best.
Whenever you do the vocal checklist, I think you should rate the job that you did
on the different things.
Yeah.
I fucking knocked Duke Cannon out of the park.
That's true.
That was a good read.
But also because I was being honest. DukeCannon.com. Use coupon code BREWING.
And also, can I just say, I love that name for some reason.
Duke Cannon.
Duke Cannon.
That's a porn name. Sorry.
Maybe that's what it is.
Duke Cannon. Beverly, would you like to have cocktails with me?
And I'm telling you, I haven't felt like a masculine man in years, and now I do.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
with the Duke Cannon.
Good. Hopefully, you'll start looking like one.
Well, that 2-1A read though.
Those testosterone pills are working.
Yeah, it's all. I'm gonna go shave my head. What else did I do? Let's talk about me for the rest of the show. The Beersmith read was pretty good today.
It was all right. It was fine. It was a 3 out of 5.
But the
You've done
20,
better.
the 2, I do well under pressure, and having Sully staring at me as I'm.
Yeah, we got to talk about it.
89%.
There's going to be notes after the show.
Right.
Your definition of doing well is
Justin. Yeah, we have to talk about a couple things.
Great. Sully just adjusted his budget every second of the read.
He has a sliding
49.
He has a slide rule in his
We're going to
pocket.
need to see you in the conference room, Justin.
Manually slide.
I'm pretty sure it was an abacus.
Yes.
Oh, God.
Was that an old guy joke? That was good.
No.
Oh, you know what I didn't do? Because we didn't do feedback. Feedback would have been brought to you today by the Beer Law
There we
Center.
go.
Go to beerlawcenter.com. I got to do this, especially right now, because the poor guy's going to have to go to work for me. I still think I might get sued. I don't know.
Really?
I don't know.
Have they responded? They haven't replied?
No.
Well, then it's over. Personally, if it were me, I would never worry about it again. I would never think about it or plan for it.
First of all, that's not true.
I know.
That's the opposite of what you would do.
Remember,
it's also really dumb advice.
Yeah.
As Nico says, worrying is praying for bad things to happen. And he's wise.
And he, you know what? And he looks a lot younger than all of us because he's not a stressed out individual.
Okay.
Good.
Does he even work at the brewery?
Yeah, are you kidding me? Yes. Although he's on vacation right now in Kauai.
In where?
Kauai.
Hawaii.
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 Kuwait. He's in Kuwait.
He's in Hawaii. He's in Hawaii, y'all.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, he's on vacation.
What I mean, though, isn't he a work from home guy?
No,
He drives to the brewery?
Yeah, he lives in Walnut Creek. I mean, I think you're thinking about the old days in Fresno.
That is what I'm thinking.
So that was like 20 years ago, Justin.
He moved to our country.
Yeah, he's living up here now.
I see.
Yeah,
Do you guys still like each other?
Yeah, we get along. I mean, we have only 2 lawyers between us right now in meetings. Yeah, we get along great.
You do?
Yeah.
Are you being serious with me right now?
Yes. What's with the interrogation? You want me back next week, right?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
I just miss you, and I like our frank conversation.
Well, why don't we do it off the air?
Nico's coming on next week's.
Yeah.
How did I do this week? Because last year you just ridiculed me for saying you really weren't on this week, and I was, of course, dying.
Right. Excuses again. I think you killed it this week. I think you did great.
Thank you.
But let's talk about me again. Nico doesn't really like me, does he? I never got the feeling that Nico likes me.
I will tell you this right now.
Yeah.
That part is absolutely true.
I think it is true.
It is.
I don't think he hates me, but I don't think he likes me very much.
No, he does not like you at all.
What is his thing?
We have meetings about it.
What's his deal with me?
It's the pube hair thing.
He's actually afraid of pubic hair, and your hair is triggering for him.
Yeah.
No.
I hugged him once, and he didn't like that.
That's probably what it was.
I felt it back. I was
Nico
like, oh, he
too,
didn't like that.
Nico's not a real hugger, I think. You know?
Yeah,
but he's
yeah.
a great man. He's
He
got
is
a
a
good
great
family
guy.
man. He holds it together there.
I like him.
Does a lot. Well, I'll tell him when he comes back. I know you hate Justin.
Yeah, but pull him aside and go, hey, Justin likes you. Just you.
Yeah,
just,
and
you know.
he'll look at Sean over the cup of his coffee as he takes a deep draw, and then goes, all right.
Yeah.
And then he'll spin on one heel and walk the other way.
Good talk, Sean.
Good talk. Good talk. All right. Well, good luck over there at the 2-1-A, Sully. I hope you guys make it.
Nico always smiles at me. His smile is so good. Like, whenever he sees me, he smiles real big.
Oh, he likes JP.
Yeah, I think he likes me.
That's
he does. We were
interesting.
over at the house a couple nights ago for dinner.
What the
when
fuck?
I got
Yeah, it was a good time.
Ridiculous.
Nico's a really good chef, too.
Guy, I didn't have a missed call or anything.
We
I don't remember.
talked about you for a little bit.
You did?
I
Okay.
tweeted you. I invited you over Twitter.
See, I never check that.
See, Sully, I told you.
I feel like you know that, though.
Yeah.
Guys.
I feel like
This is awkward.
Well, look, it doesn't have to be awkward.
My appendix hurts.
Well, you know what?
Go to
I
the
wouldn't do
hospital.
a goddamn thing about it. It'll all blow over.
So literally, Sully texts me the next day, and it starts like this. So get this.
So we got the same text.
And I'm like,
yeah.
And I'm like,
And
okay.
he tells me a story, and I'm like, wait, what? You're dying?
Well, in true Sully fashion, it starts with, I'm okay. Everything is
Well,
okay.
that's what you have. You always start with the
Yes.
end of the story. I learned that with my mom because my mom was in and out of hospitals for a long time.
Okay.
And, it was bad shit.
But you
And
start with-
you never want to start with, and so mom went to the hospital, and then this happened, and this happened, and she died.
Yeah, you never
You
wanna
always
do
want to say, I'm okay. Everything
Yeah.
is cool, but this is going on.
Okay, good call.
So
No,
remember
was
that,
good.
everybody out there. End of the story first.
It set me at ease with that.
Yeah.
But then I was
That's the
like,
point.
you sat through that show and did not say another word.
I'm a goddamn professional.
Well, and then, so after the show, Sully and I were leaving together, and we're stopped in the corner, and we're chatting. He's like, my side kind of hurts.
Oh, my
And
gosh.
he's like touching here. I'm like, is that where your appendix is?
Oh, no.
Like, maybe your appendix is going to burst.
Right.
And there we go.
Dr. Jip.
That's right. I deeply tongue kissed him, so that helped.
Yeah.
It did calm me down.
Yeah.
It's very
some of the pain away.
He has a calming
It
tongue,
did.
JV.
He really does.
So Tuesday, I
It's your
started
best
to
feature.
feel sick, and I got a cold, and my throat was hurting, and I was like, "Damn it, Sully!
Oh, you thought
were
I got you sick.
And you cursed him.
And I had
Meanwhile,
no
he
idea.
was dying.
Wow.
Well, he said I have a little bit of a bug when he came in, and I was like, God damn it.
I think more to the point, that just opened up
did say
Bev's hypochondria.
Right.
She thought Sully was sick, so then she got sick in her mind, even
No,
though
I
she
really got
wasn't
sick.
really sick.
You did?
Yeah, it's just like a cold. It's
See?
fine.
I see.
I
All
didn't do
that.
that. I had nothing to do with that.
I wouldn't even shake your hand when you were leaving because I was worried about the bug, actually.
Well, I did have a fever, and it was coming on.
Right.
And that's one of the
your
side.
body was fighting off death.
Right. Ian's not wrong.
Ian, never be a doctor.
Yeah.
One thing about
You know
Ian.
why he's going on with that low-grade fever, my friend?
Knows what
Because
he's
you're
talking about.
dying.
That's right.
Yeah. I don't know if you thought about that.
Sully's next beer is going to be a wit beer called My White Blood Cell Count.
Hey, hold on, I'm writing that down.
My wit blood cell count.
It's gonna
Sully's
go to
white blood cell.
Ryan's Foundation for Future Business. I don't know. I lost it. It's too hot in here, man.
It's
I'm
warm.
sweaty.
Yeah. I mean, you
Gotta
It
get
is
out of
warm.
here,
out.
dude.
So the AC's not working? We don't have to go back to that. Never mind.
Yeah,
Let's
can
end
we
the show.
let's just go.
Just so you know, folks around the country, it was 102 degrees in Concord today.
102
Not
degrees.
exaggerating. And our AC failed at the bar.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I will say it is reminiscent of the garage, but it's not as hot because we're removed. We don't have in the studio. We don't have direct walls to the outside that's beating on the sun all day.
You're right.
and it's insulated like garages really aren't. Even though you did, carpet, it helped probably a little
No.
bit.
How did
But
that
no.
go? How did that go? I lost you there.
No, you're
so
right.
it's a little better.
It was, and again, I'm not exaggerating. It was regularly 90 degrees in there. I would
Oh,
check
yeah.
the temperature. It was
I
regularly
remember we had a
90
thing up the
degrees.
thing. And I think didn't we eventually take it out
Because
it was too depressing?
Yes.
Yeah, and we were complaining too much. And
I
you're like,
loved it when it was
"Fucking
hot in the studio because I knew I was driving back to Berkeley where it was cool.
where it would be nice again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
in my ivory tower.
Yeah.
Just thinking about you all back there with your roofs on fire.
What a great place. When do you officially decide about the removal or keeping of your appendix, Sully? I want to know.
Justin, we can talk later.
And should we do a survey on air of what listeners think you should do?
Well,
and can I have it if you
next
take it
week's
out?
Twitter game.
Yeah, I was going to say we should give it away.
Could probably
Amber and give it away.
I could play along with all that for the show.
Okay.
Should be like an over-under for next week's Twitter
They
game.
do want to cut it out, I think.
I know, and you're
But
leaning
I'm
towards
leaning not towards it, yes.
And they're just waiting for your antibiotic run, and then they're going to say, what's your decision?
And then I'm going to go in, and then I have to have this fun test.
It's the worst.
It's fine. You're high as a kite.
No, the test is fine, but the beforehand
no, I don't mind that. It's a cleanse. You just sit around all day, and you're like, hey, I got to go again.
Yeah.
It's not a bad deal. It's fine. It's better than dying, by the way.
Good point.
Yeah, I've lost 2 friends to colon cancer.
Really?
Yeah, remember that, people out there.
Okay.
And now if you're 45, this is a PSA, they're saying, you used to say 50 years old, now it's 45.
Okay, go get your butt checked.
That seems like it's sooner if you have a family member directly who has died from it.
That's why I had to get one, because I had 2 uncles die from it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So they're like, let's just throw you in there. I'm like, okay.
And your butt's okay? How often do you have to do it?
No, I had a polyp, and they took it out. It was not cancerous. Yeah.
Oh.
I think in 5 years. They're not like super worried about it. Yeah.
Knock on wood.
We'll see.
But I'll let you know, everybody. I know everybody's concerned. I can hear it in the room.
Are you on air with us next week, or Teresa's with us next week? I forget. Check your calendar.
Sully is.
Sully's with us next week, too? So we'll get an update on whether or not what you've decided.
I have a follow-up this week. Isn't there like a HIPAA
Do you want me to
thing
go?
here?
Do you want me to go with you?
Can we film it?
Yeah. Do you want me to go with you to your appointment?
No, I do not want that to happen.
Are you sure? I feel like you need the support.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea.
I got questions.
You should sit in for Sean with Sean and Nico's meetings. Like, you should be Sean's proxy at the meeting.
Oh my God, Nico would fucking hate it. We should do that as a joke, though.
What's that movie with Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting? Who was the other guy in that movie?
Robin Williams?
No, not Robin. Yeah, the other guy, his partner, Ben Affleck.
Yeah.
Like when he's like his agent or something like that, and he's trying to shake down the NSA.
We should fuck with Nico on that. Be like, so Justin's now going to sit in with me. I really like his opinions, and he's now.
So I've gotten into a little bit of personal debt. I had to sell some shares, so now he's minority.
Justin's telling me he doesn't like that idea.
He's in my earpiece.
I just keep whispering to Sully throughout the. He's a good skit.
I got to do this. He told me to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you'll report back next week.
I will let you know.
Okay.
If
the world wants to know.
I like the fact. It's good. It's good show material, right? That's what the kids say.
Yes, I've started. Yeah. I started your own Instagram account. But it's called Sully's.
Sully's Appendix.
Hashtag Sully's Appendix 2019.
Yeah, exactly. Ian, thanks so much for coming up, and being on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Beers are amazing.
They're
thank
so
you very much.
good. I'm going to have another
I'm not just
one.
saying that because you're a large man sitting next to me, but I really enjoy your beers.
Yeah, and that Sully's fragile at this time.
I am. I'm sorry. 89%.
I'm going to switch back to the pale ale for our dinner after the show. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful beers. Thank you for being up here.
Great
Thank you very much.
too.
Yeah,
Good
of course.
interview.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, good job today. JP, you did pretty good today too. You know.
Oh, thanks. Hey, I appreciate it.
You know,
Except
lack
for
of
your face.
lack of sleep and all, everything but your face was good.
Oh, damn, dude! I've never heard such a compliment before. Thank you very much.
Right.
I love that. That'll be the next Twitter game.
Thanks, Twitter.
Yeah. Bevo, thanks for watching the game for us all day. Just what I wanted to be
Check
doing.
the score one time.
And
how to yell.
Shots fired.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves out there.
Thank you to our show sponsor, More Beer. You can get absolutely everything you need to make great beer at home by going to morebeer.com. Thanks to Ian from Riip Beer Company down in beautiful Huntington Beach, California, for coming into the Sweat Box to talk about his great beers. Find out more about them over at ripbeer.com. Hey, if you like Disneyland, and what kind of deviant brain doesn't, then head over to etsy.com/covears and buy some of my Disneyland-themed t-shirts, eh? Please, do it. Get on Twitter for some good beer insight and homebrew info. Follow Nate Smith at Nathan Homebrew, Mike McDowell at TC McD. Warren is stuck over at Another Beardy. JP knows Twitter is dead, so he's on Instagram at Major Jip, and you can find Bevo there as well at Beverly M. Moore. Be sure to find the Brewing Network on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. JP's an asshole. Justin's a nice guy and winning the race. JP does great as his cherry.